You're listening to the N.W.A, the Nubian Wrestling Advocates.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Yo, it's Righteous Reg. It's a case for the safe, keep a space for the Nubians. Unfiltered, off-kilter, the professor, the godfather. Post-wrestling, the N.W.A, not keep guessing, The views and expressions, you know the rest, it's pod excellence, get the message. Advocates for Nubian wrestling, you're listening to the best again. Black wrestling in the ring we invested in. Nubian kings and queens we invested in. It's for the culture and we reppin' it. It's for the culture and we reppin' it.
And welcome to the N.W.A podcast, the Nubian Wrestling Advocates, the program all about getting color in the professional wrestling business. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters all around the world? This is our final show of 2022, so we got a lot to get into. I'm excited. It's good to be back. But before we get into this show, we got to let you know who we are. First of all, I am the Godfather, Nate Milton, a.k.a. your favorite podcaster. And joining me are the advocates. First of all, I'm going to switch it up this week. First of all, a man that brings you all the news that's fit to read, one of the hardest working men in this business, and he's my nephew. Y'all give it up for the youngest in charge, the man with the plan, Andrew Thompson. Andrew, what's good, brother?
What's going on, Uncle Nate? My guy, Uncle Chris. What's going on, man? It's good to see y'all. Hey, yeah, we had like a mini reunion at the post 5th anniversary show because I was able to call brother Nate when we was when we was backstage. Chris, of course, I got to meet you in person for the first time, so that was cool. It was good meeting you at the dinner that we had. What was that, Friday night?
Yeah, and I was late. So the dinner I was late to because I got the times wrong.
It's I was AW press conference all over again, man.
Right, yeah, and then I was late to the post event as well. But that was purposely done because he said that they weren't starting anything. He said you'll just be hanging out backstage. I was like, all right, well, you know, I'm gonna catch a few Z's extra, you know. And a shout out to Pasta Lovers. I got the shirt that Scrump gave me for the low price of $8. It was I love New York. Every time I go to New York, I love it. The people there, you always hear like the stereotypes of how people in New York are. People in New York treat me well, man. Every time I go there, they look out for a brother and stuff.
Well, hold on, Chris. Yeah, because you know why they treat you well.
Why is that?
Because not only, ladies and gentlemen, is this man the mayor pro tem of Los Angeles, California, not only is he one of the most knowledgeable and informative brothers that you will see, but he's a bad man when he gets a mimosa in his hand. Ladies and gentlemen, formally introduced on this episode, our brother, the Professor, Chris Ely, a.k.a. Moderna Chris. Can we rock? What's up, Doc?
Man, what's up, man? Chilling. So, yeah, man, it was just, I really enjoyed that weekend. I wish it could have lasted a little bit longer because I don't feel like I enjoyed everyone like I could have. But it was cool meeting Stephanie Chase and Bano and just everybody there. WH meeting him in person for the first time. I was glad my girlfriend got to see Stephanie Chase in person, because the first time I was watching Stephanie Chase on my TV, it was my first time watching her, but I think you and her Nate were doing a review show.
Oh yeah, that all out review.
Yeah. And my girlfriend walks in to me, I'll be watching it, and she's like, that's a pretty girl. Why is she doing a wrestling show? Like stereotyping wrestling fans and shit. And I told her about that when we saw her in person. I was like, yeah, right in front of my girlfriend. I was like, oh yeah, my girlfriend was surprised that a pretty girl watches wrestling. So thank you for
Chase out here destroying stereotypes.
Right. I know, right? So yeah. But I wish I could have hung out with them a little bit, and even like Brandon from New Jersey. I really didn't get to chat with him the way I wanted to.
Did you get to chop it up with our light-skinned cousin Brandon Thurston while you was up there?
Oh yeah. I did chop it up with Brandon. I wish I had more time with him as well, but yeah, I did chop it up with him. I chopped it up with most everybody except for a few people. It was just MJ from MJ, Matt, just a lot of folks that I always hear from, but just never see. People coming up to me talking about how much they love what we do on this show. And just it was just great. And by the post event, I had most of my energy. Like the night at the pasta thing, I was struggling because I think I left my walking cane because me and my girlfriend had to switch hotels, because on our floor they gave us a room and it smelled like it smelled like hardcore just reefer smoke, and my girlfriend gets really bad allergies, so she wasn't having that, and I wasn't really having it either, so they switched us to another room, and then I left my walking cane in the room that we were in previously. So that was one of the reasons why we were so late getting to Pasta Lovers. And then the food there was good, and then we actually had a chance to meet up with Andrew and everybody afterwards. But I mean, we were just they fed us so well at that spot, and it was with the drinks and stuff. So we kind of chilled, and by the time it was time to leave, I just went home. But we went to walked around the area, went to Radio City Music Hall.
Okay.
Just all the cool stuff in New York. But Jersey, I like Jersey, but there were some spots in Jersey that I got issues with. But the hotel was cool. I was cool with the hotel. I like the restaurant in the hotel. Again, I think we'll have more of these reunions and things. Now that we've got that one out of the way, we kind of know how to. I think we'll know how to we'll know what to do better next time, right?
I mean, John and Wade sounded to me like, Andrew, John and Wade need to make this an annual tradition. Don't wait another 5 years.
Yeah. They definitely should, man. It was a great weekend seeing everybody out there, and especially when I had to. As I said, when we was backstage, I had to make sure we phoned in Brother Nate, because I had I had Rich right beside me. I was like, hold on, bro. I was like, let me DM this man right now. Let me see what he up to. And we had to pass. Nate, I'm sorry I had to do that till you pass the phone around, because I know.
Andrew was like, So I was getting ready to go to work, Chris. Like I do. For those that may not know, like I do. Work with a nonprofit out in Austin, Texas, and I host their talk shows on Saturday mornings before I go into work that afternoon. So I just finished the show, and nephew hit me up. He's like, "So what you doing right now?" I was like, just got through doing the show, man, just chilling. He's like, all right, hold on, I'm about to call you. I'm like, oh, okay. And next thing I know, I'm talking with Andrew, I'm talking with John, I'm talking with WH. Like he said, he passed the phone around the room to the crew. But if I couldn't be there in person, at least I was there. Nephew brought me in via the technology, so I could show some love to the brothers on their big day.
Yeah. I'm looking at the chat right now. Anthony just came in and said that I stopped Neil from showing up at the anniversary.
Yeah. We were missing our man Neil, man.
Neil didn't want that smoke.
Good man, Neil. Nate, you got a comment in from the chat from Big in South Korea. He said, "Have a great stream, Nate. I just bought the Rocky Maivia Picture Show shirt as a Christmas present, and it looks nice." Look at that.
My man. Yes, for those that want to know, man, I'm not wearing a Rocky Maivia shirt tonight. I'm wearing the wrestling club shirt.
Yeah, look at that, man.
Support of the wrestling club. They've been doing good work all year. But post wrestling, the shop, man, they got shirts for all the shows. The Rocky Maivia Picture Show, the Long and Winding Royal Road, the Pillar shirt, John Pollock, a little bit of the foily. Like I think they still got the greatest shirt. Even greater than the Rocky Maivia Picture Show shirt. We got Bushby and Thompson's Wrestling Adventure shirts available, ladies and gentlemen. Get you one of those before the year is up.
Hey, Nate, do we have a little exclusive about the Rocky Maivia Picture Show, man? It's been a lot of rumors about your boy these past.
A lot of people been talking, man. I think even John Pollock, and Wei Ting, on a recent episode of a show, we're talking about, who's the greatest wrestling actor out here in these streets, and we know it's our boy DJ. So keep your ears open because before the end of the year, before the clock strikes 12 on New Year's Eve, we might hear from the Rocky Maivia Picture Show, taking a look at Black Adam. So that's all I'm gonna say. I got a crew assembled for that episode, but we'll see when it comes out. I'm sure John and Wade will promote that. But yes, you haven't heard the last of the Rocky Maivia Picture Show featuring future former guests, and he's probably going to be a future guest too. But my man Andrew Thompson, a Planet 51 fan.
We're definitely gonna have to do this because to me it's The Rock, and it ain't even close. Who's the best wrestler turned actor? But I'm willing to debate it. So
we leaving Dave out the conversation.
Yeah. Dave is in the conversation, but
I throw Cena in the conversation.
Yeah, I put Cena in the conversation, and I never thought that I would do that with John Cena either. Like I never thought Cena was going to step it up, but he has. And like before we signed on today, I was telling Nate, I don't think any of those guys have really done work with the director that is going to bring a tour de force performance out of them, right? Batista's a part of big movie brands, but Batista's not selling a movie. The Rock is selling a movie based off of the Rock's name, but he's not really people aren't seeing the movie because The Rock is a great actor. So, but I don't think the Batista's had a chance to really show that he's what he can do. I don't think The Rock has it. I don't think Cena has. So it'll be interesting to see which one of those guys gets nominated for an Oscar or a Golden Globe first, right?
Well, speaking of first, we want to give our first shout out of the night, Chris, to Del Diddy with the super chat.
Oh, yo, $20, man. That is
showing holiday love, showing love to the fam. We showing love back to you, man. We appreciate the support, man. Appreciate everybody watching.
That is some beer money right there for you. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna get that holiday dog, yo, with that 20. Appreciate it.
Why does eggnog taste like mimosa, Chris? What is we doing, brother?
I'm about to say, brother, I wanted to bring up another comment from Anthony. Shout out to Anthony, very active in the chat right now. But he mentioned your shirt, the TWC. It said that's good people and it's nice what they're doing. That is some of the coolest stuff that I'm seeing today. Victor Perry, I believe, was leading the wrestling club that got that whole thing situated, and it's turned into this this big thing. Like I even saw, I think I saw one of the NBA players that played for Indiana Pacers. He had like one of their shirts on, man. So it's cool to see that whole thing spread and like, of course, getting a multitude of different children involved. It'll be like very interesting to see how like that like continues to spread. And I wonder if like other schools will like it becomes like a like a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm talking about
like a regular after school activity.
It becomes like that type of thing. And it's crazy to see like that sort of come up from the ground level and to like see where it is now and like how Victor Perry sort of navigating and maneuvering around it. So yeah, that's.
And we definitely want to sit down with that brother sometime next year. Because
definitely, we got to do that.
Doing good things, man, for the kids, for the community. Like we really want to show love to the brother and to all the kids, man. Like because they are, Andrew, where we were, like 15, 20 years ago, 30 years ago in some cases, and so it's good, to see, that love being sparked. And again, man, wrestling for everybody, man, despite what some companies or some people might want to tell you, some stereotypes that are out there. Chris mentioned the stereotypical wrestler fan earlier. Wrestling for everybody, man. And so that's part of the reason we have this show, Andrew Thompson.
It is indeed, brother Nate. But man, like you said that at the top, this is our year-end show.
Year-end.
Let's sort of go around and share some of our favorite moments from the show. Like I know that's like that's like something that you would probably need to like look back on and like think hard about. But I'm pretty sure there's like a couple moments from this show.
Andrew, look, let me tell you something, Andrew. Because I went back and did some research, from last year to this year, getting prepared for this year-end show tonight. And so I got a couple moments from this year that I really love. But let's not forget about 1 year ago when we did our holiday show Post Wrestling. That was the night, Andrew, we learned that Chris stole $25,000 worth of Chick-fil-A back in the day. Never forget, ladies and gentlemen, this man, Chris Ely, distinguished professor, was out here smuggling nuggets on these streets, trafficking tenders to the community.
Bro, probably when I'm thinking about like some of my favorite moments from the show, the funniest one was probably when Chris started to have his little turnaround on Omos, like, but he walked it back. And he was like, y'all ain't about to catch me in this situation. Like that was like one of the funniest moments that I can remember from this show, man. But it's so many like good conversations that we had. Like honestly, but besides like the funny stuff, obviously, but like I think probably one of the more best conversations that we had in terms of like not everybody being on the same page in terms of points, but like we all coming to like that conclusion or that type of understanding was the Gabe Stevenson conversation. I think we had that. But hey, do we have that before that was before he debuted in WWE? Like that was before WrestleMania, I think.
No, this was like this was like right around the time that he
showed up on Raw, right?
Right, he
like
showed up.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So that was probably one of my favorite conversations that we had, like in terms of just like breaking that down and like sort of separating the facts from like the stuff that was not necessarily fact and like sort of bringing everything together, and then of course coming to the conclusion of the conversation where we all sort of understood each other's points and stuff like that. Like just in terms of like serious conversation, that's probably one of my favorites that we had so far when I look back like at the last year and a half type stuff. So that's probably one of my favorites that we talked about.
I agree with you, Andrew. Like I think obviously Chris versus Omos, like that's on the medal stand for some of the best segments we had on the show this year. I think some of the guests, and that's something we got to get back to, and it's partly my fault just because of scheduling. But like talking with Rich Fan and Reg and Chinyere, some of our friends that we got to sit down with and chop it up with over the year. SP3, the good brother SP3. Those were some good moments, but maybe my favorite show, and again, it kind of gets back to these serious conversations, Andrew, was the episode we did with Brandon Thurston, our light-skinned cousin Brandon. Talking about Vince McMahon stepping down, because that was like, not only was that, I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it, like it's the story of the year. Like not only was that the story of the year, but it was our first live show, and to get that interactive kind of feedback from the audience, man, I thought that was a really good conversation that we had with Brandon, and a really fun night around serious conversation.
It was that. That was a good, because we had the Vince McMahon conversation, the Sasha Banks conversation, and the CM Punk conversation, and to a lesser extent the Cody conversation. Those conversations did not leave us at all this year. Once they were news, even if they weren't front page news, they stayed news. Sasha Banks and Naomi's situation, that is still news, and the poll is still up on all of our Twitters right now. It's going to be open for probably a little bit less than an hour. What was the most shocking story of the year? We've got Sasha and Naomi at 1.9%, Cody going to WWE at 7.1%, CM Punk shoots at presser, which was 12.9%, and of course,
shout out to the Muffin Man.
Yeah. And of course, the number one story, running away with it, but you still got time to vote, is Vince McMahon steps down from WWE.
We gotta wait for the mail-in ballots, Chris.
Right, we gotta wait for the mail-in ballots and stuff. But yeah, vote on this, and we do have some honorable mentions too. And shout out to Chad Rivera for coming up with the honorable mentions that will.
And real quick, Chris, shout out to our guy T. Anthony Ald in the comment section, man, for the super chat. We appreciate you, brother. He also said, Chris, so you the reason why Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays, because they was like, we losing too much money with Chris Ely on these streets.
Yeah. I thought they were closed on Sundays because they wanted to honor the Lord or whatever.
They said, "Thou shalt not steal these wings, my brother."
Chick-fil-A was my first real job.
First heist. That was his first heist.
Yeah, that's my first real job.
Your first criminal escapade.
Yeah, we used to have all kind of, and I worked at Chick-fil-A in Knoxville, Tennessee too. They used to have
Mayor
Kane.
Jacobs.
Yeah.
Chris, did you hear about that story about Kane?
Yeah, yeah. I think that'll probably come up this week because on a serious tip for a second, I feel that I gotta mention this because
because you're on mute, bro.
Oh, hold on.
There you go.
Get Chris's audio back.
Yeah, we got it. Okay, cool.
There we go. Yep.
So I do feel like silence is complicity at this stage in the game with all the anti-Black stuff going on and anti-Semitic stuff going on. With just bad people out there, I want to say that I'm down with anybody that's different, no matter what the difference is. I'm not going to be, and American people are for the most part, we're with the Jewish community, the Black community, the LGBTQ community, with just all the nasty stuff and Kanye West going on Alex Jones's show and giving praise to Hitler. I'm not with any of that shit at all. If anybody on my Facebook,
you lost me at Alex Jones.
Yeah. if anybody on my Facebook feed or Twitter feed or anything like that sees fit to compliment Hitler on my page, you see yourself to the exit so I don't have to block you. This shit has just got to stop, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more throughout the episode, but I had to get that shit out the way, man, because it's just this shit makes me sad, and even like going back to Brian Kendrick, who was who we talked about earlier this year. And I know Brian Kendrick. I've met him a few times, and I've heard him say his conspiracy theory shit again. I've heard him say his conspiracy theory shit in the past. And when I listen to some of these people that say stupid stuff, I've been one of those people that's just kind of, laughed it off or just kind of didn't take it seriously because, okay, this person is a little nuts, but what Kanye West has showed me is that you got to, anytime somebody starts saying just dangerous rhetoric and stuff like that, you got to nip it in the bud immediately. You can't have this stuff. You cannot let people get away with saying this nonsense, because what Kanye West is trying to do is mainstream these kind of talking points. I've heard this kind of nonsense my whole life, because, you know, I grew up around Black Israelites and stuff like that go and spout off, you know, these anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, and it's just bad stuff, and I can't get with it, you know. And I actually know a lot of real Black Jewish people, because what's not talked about in mainstream media a lot is the Jewish diaspora went to a bunch of different countries. It didn't just go to Israel and stuff like that. It went to African countries, Asian countries, all over the place. You know, there are African slaves that were born into Judaism. That is a fact. But I think where these Black Israelites get it twisted is they kind of they use it as a way to be anti-Semitic, and that's probably a topic for Kings of Sport. But, you know, any wrestler doing that stuff, I'm just gonna call it out, and I'm not saying I can never forgive you, Nash Carter or Brian Kendrick or any of these people, but this shit is not funny, so we got to stop it. It cannot continue.
Yeah. And I think we are, and it kind of goes to the top story of the year as well. Like there becomes a saturation point. Yeah. You know, where behaviors, they may have been excused, Andrew, you know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But eventually you're going to reach a saturation point. Eventually there's going to be something that breaks that cycle. And so, you know, you're seeing it with people with the language they're using. We saw it, you know, a year ago with Speaking Out, and we saw it this year with the resignation / stepping down / you can't go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here, Chief, of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I think we can all agree, Andrew, despite, you know, we still got the poll open. Polls don't close until 2 p.m. in Nevada. That is our biggest story of the year.
Yes, it is.
I think hands down that's probably the runaway story of the year. Like I'm like that conversation when we had Brandon Thurston on, like that was probably one of the more I would say more intriguing conversations that we've had.
Oh wow. Did I just kick the nephew out? There you go.
Kick me out, Nate? What's going on?
I'm trying to control the narrative here, Andrew.
Yeah, you complete your thought, because you were going somewhere with it, and I wanted to hear the rest of it. So.
But like I think it was a very like intriguing conversation. One of the more intriguing conversations that we've had throughout this podcast, like considering like the backstory of it as well. And when I say backstory, I mean like the allegations that are out there, Vincent McMahon, that have been out there that sort of resurfaced even more and came to the light for however many occasion that it has came out. I know these different accusations have definitely come out in years prior, but like it seemed like it rose back up, of course, with the you know, the hush money stuff as well. So I think that was probably one of the more prominent conversations that we had, and I think I think like looking back on it just from a conversational standpoint, I think we pretty much like we dove into it like as much as we could, and we touched on everything possible that we could touch on. And you know, I when I look back on that, I think that's probably one of the conversations that I'm most proud of. Like I said, along with the Gable Stevenson conversation that we had. But hands down, when we talking about pro wrestling stories of the year, that is number one, because I don't think anybody ever saw Vince McMahon stepping down from the role that he was in. But you know, when that first story dropped from the Wall Street Journal, what was that, bro? Gee, that was that June. Yeah, when that first story dropped. Yeah, and then like when the story just kept coming out, like I know like people were sort of like, oh, is he gonna step down? Or like, but because nobody ever really saw that coming, or nobody ever really thought that they would see the day that he did step down. It was like a kind of a thing where it was like, nah, that's not gonna happen. And then here we are present day. He isn't running the day-to-day operations of the company anymore, to his own doing. So yeah, that's hands down the biggest pro wrestling story of the year, in my opinion.
Well, I agree with you, Andrew, and I know the professor agrees with you. He's get his take here in a minute, but Black Mega Man disagrees with you, man.
Yeah. Bow Wow
Super
making his debut on AEW.
Oh, we will be talking about that today because I got some thoughts on that. But I'm interested. The AEW does have me intrigued with this Jade Bow Wow situation. I know I might be in the minority, but
He's about to get whooped on national TV. That's what's about to happen. Jade about to put the work on.
Yeah, but anyway, I think for me that's the story that drew my interest. That probably got me to a bunch of Twitter followers and all that stuff, because I wasn't really on Twitter, and I'm still not on Twitter that much. But definitely the Vince McMahon stuff, because when I wrote that story for WrestleNomics, I just all kinds of people were atting me and stuff in the article that I wrote about that, and just the dumb ass takes, the dumb fucking takes that I saw from people in the wrestling community. The dumbest one was from Chris Jericho, who said,
surprise.
Yeah, it is what it is. But Jericho was talking. They were asking him about what they think about Vince McMahon sleeping with people that work underneath him and stuff. And he said, well, it's not a big deal. I mean, yeah, it's morally wrong, but it's not necessarily illegal. And in the article I wrote for Brandon Thurston in WrestleNomics, I was like, actually, that is illegal. There's a Supreme Court case called Meritor Savings Bank versus Vinson. You can't be sleeping with people underneath you.
It's a power dynamic. Man.
Yeah, there's a power dynamic there. You can't do that and have them feel like if they don't do it, they will lose their job. That's why that kind of stuff is frowned upon.
And I'm about to say, Chris, and even to your point, like even if you don't say that, that feeling will still be there. Like it's going to be there regardless.
Right. There's an implication.
Yeah, they need to quit the job immediately, or something needs to happen if you guys are in a situation where someone's in love with someone else, or just whatever it is, they can't work underneath you. And
it's got to be on equal footing, like the people at Good Morning America.
Right. That was like, and you can say what you want to about Amy Roback and TJ Holmes, but like Nate just alluded to, they are there's no power dynamic that like they're in the same position. They shouldn't be messing around with their spouse, messing around on their spouses. Poor Andrew Shue can't catch a break. I used to watch those Melrose Place reruns when I was in high school. I used to watch them every day in the middle of the day on the E channel. And poor Billy, man, every woman that he dated cheated on him, and just to see that spill over into real life is
imitating
just
the art.
That was just kind of nuts. But it's like the Vince McMahon stuff is clearly the number one story, and this is a year where if this was any other year, Cody Rhodes going to AEW would have been the number one story. Jonathan Gresham walking out on AEW, that could have been a top story if this was any other year. You know what I'm saying? There was so much to choose from. There's so much to Sasha and Naomi.
Yeah.
You haven't enough. All of these things could have been the number one story, and it was just McMahon, and then
Tyrus becoming N.W.A. world champion.
Oh my Jesus Christ, man! when are we going to talk about that? Because I mean, I do think that we got to address that foolishness before the show is up.
Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
No, I think I was about to say, Nate, just real quick, just to piggyback over what Chris was saying. Like it's the wrestling news cycle, bro. Like I've been covering wrestling news since 2017. This has probably been like one of the more like I would say hectic news cycles that I've like seen and like been a part of and covered. Like it's crazy how much stuff has like happened like month by month. Like, and I was just on on Josh Nason's podcast on FOW Online, and we went through the month of April and like all the news that's happened, bro. Like it is ridiculous like how much stuff happens in each month that we even forgot. Like it was stuff that like we was talking about, bro. Like I genuinely forgot happened. And this was like 5 or 6, 7 months ago. Like WrestleMania was that month. Like all this different stuff happened. And then the next month after that, Sasha and Naomi was gone from WWE. And then like, you know, we got all this different stuff. And, you know, Vince, like the Vince story started coming out shortly after that. And then we got the Punk stuff. And like
the CM Punk. MJF walking out.
MJF having his issues with AEW and stuff like that, bro. This is probably one of the more hectic wrestling news cycles that I've seen since 2017. Like it's crazy, bro. And then at that we still got what, 4 weeks left?
Yeah.
3 weeks left. So
a lot can happen in 3 weeks.
And I know for me on a psychological standpoint, from like when I'm covering this stuff and I'm just inundated with like all this news that is just so disheartening and stuff, it really did at a certain point get me to start questioning, why do I still watch this shit? Because it's like these are grown-ups that cannot act like adults. And then when I go to an event like, you know, post weekend, it reminds me of, you know, now I'm in this thing now for, you know, the brotherhood and the sisterhood that I get with other fans, you know, because there was so much to be put off by at this year, you know, with CM Punk and the Young Bucks and Omega having their beef, and Vince McMahon just kind of making a joke out of all of his sexual escapades, and it was just a crazy year, man. But you know, the good thing about this show for myself is that it's therapeutic to talk about it, man. It just kind of makes me kind of like, okay, this stuff is annoying. It'll put you in a bad mood, but you got people to talk to about it. And then you've also got, you know, your comrades that actually do the wrestling, and to hear, you know, and sometimes you got to realize that it's bigger than just the A and B players. There's a lot of players, moving parts to this, and we want to be respectful to everybody that's a part of these stories.
Yeah, and it's the yin and the yang. You know, it's everything. It's all encompassing. Like, not only is it some of these stories that where you're just kind of shaking your head, Chris, and you're like, why do I even watch this? Why do I even cover this? But it's the good stories. You know, we'll talk about these coming up here in a second while we hand out some holiday awards. But my last thing on Vince before we kind of shift gears, guys, is this to me was not only the biggest story of 2022, but, you know, one of the biggest stories in kind of our lifetime as, you know, wrestling fans, people that cover wrestling, you know, part of the wrestling, you know, media. But I feel like we still have yet to see what the ultimate ramifications from this will be, right? Like, I feel like we're in that aftermath of you know, your boy Paul taking that big chair, and we're seeing some of the moves that Triple H has made early on in his regime. But I still think it's going to take time to fully realize the after effects of the dismissal. Or the resignation or the stepping down, however you want to phrase it, of Vince McMahon, because he has been somebody so integral to that company and to, you know, the sport and the business. So we're going to see how that pans out. But fellas, let's get happy, man. It's the holiday season. Chris, get that mimosa bottle open, man. We about to get down with some awards. So this is the holiday season, man. We got Christmas, we got Hanukkah. We got Festivus for the rest of us. We got New Year's. And, of course, we got Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa, for those that don't know, is an African-American holiday celebrating 7 founding core principles of the community. And so we've got some awards that correspond with each of those principles. Before we get into them, shout out to Ray Williams and everybody. I see folks coming into the chat fashionably late. We appreciate y'all. Thank you for the love. And remember, super chats get to hop to the front of the line when it comes to that. But so for Kwanzaa, the 7 days of Kwanzaa, we've got Umoja, which is about unity. We've got Kuji. I knew this one. Look, Chris, pulling back the curtain. I even listened to the Happy Kwanzaa song. I know Andrew might have heard the Happy Kwanzaa song.
I've heard it.
They played a lot in this area in the 757. You know, Happy Kwanzaa, Umoja, Kujima. So yes, and I knew this was going to be the one that would mess me up. Kuji Chagulia. I got to say it like I'm in English class.
I was about to say, I'm looking at it right now to see if you're going to get it.
Yeah. So Kuji Chagulia is self-determination. I was determined to get that phrase out. Ujima, which is collective work and responsibility. Ujama, which is cooperative economics. Nia, which is purpose. Kuumba, which is creativity. And Imani, which is faith. So, you know, we're going. Let's make a collective list, guys. We can just kind of put a list together here.
Yeah, let's do that. There we go. Let's do that.
So the first category is Umoja, and Chris. It should be no surprise who I'm going to nominate for this award because Umoja is all about unity. Sasha Banks and Naomi is who I would nominate for that award because of how they stuck together this year in a bad situation, a situation where, Andrew, you mentioned, like a lot of people kind of tried to play one against the other and those sisters stayed steadfast. So I would give them the award for unity. What do you think about that?
I agree with that. And I think I love about that is I've got at least two different articles where I'm talking about Sasha and Naomi, and we are in December now, and we still have no idea where their next move is going to be. Like you might have an idea of what their next move is going to be, but you're playing yourself if you say you know for a fact what they're going to do, because none of us know. And I like that they went with this idea of we do not have to tell anybody anything. We'll let Vince McMahon and WWE talk all of their shit, and we will just do whatever it is we're going to do. And I'll give a shout out to Triple H in this regard as well. Is I know I'm guessing that they haven't come to an agreement at the negotiating table, but Triple H isn't using this as an opportunity to
bash him.
You know, right? Which is what Vince McMahon did, and that was just the most unprofessional thing that you can do. And what was getting on my nerves about this story the most is WWE plays this Jedi mind trick on fans, where they turn themselves into the victims, and they tried to turn Sasha and Naomi into the aggressors. These two bully black chicks walked away from the company, walked away from what they agreed to do.
They let you down.
Yeah, and they, that kind of, just trying to babyface themselves in the midst of all this nonsense. And then the most poetic thing ever, all of Vince McMahon's fuckery comes out it's like a couple months later. It's like, dude, you take several seats, So I like that choice, Nate.
What about you, nephew?
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with both of y'all. Like that seems like one of the more obvious choices. Like the Sasha and Naomi sticking together throughout this year, going into the story, like you like I really do like the approach that they've taken. Like
you kicked that boy out again. There you go.
I'm still here.
You're here.
You're still standing. You still strong. You're Antoine Fisher.
They're not. They've taken this approach of okay, they're not shying away from doing media, because they are like doing like interviews and stuff like that. But it's like more, Sasha is to like promote her individual brand and stuff like that. But I really do like that they sort of stayed silent on the matter. Like they really haven't gone out and done X, Y, and Z and, you know, opened up about the whole situation. I mean, they could, and I'm pretty sure like myself and a bunch of other people would love to hear what they would have to say, but I feel like it adds more to the whole mystique of the situation, and it works out better for them press-wise in a way like that they sort of keep everything to themselves, man, and it just further builds up that anticipation of like, will we hear their side, and like, when are they coming back? And like I have like, especially at this point, like I have fully given up on trying to like guess or like speculate.
Same here.
I can't call it, but like I can see one of them going to AEW. I can see one of them going to WWE. I can see the other one going to AEW or the other one going to WWE. Like I can see both of them going back. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's too. Like we too deep in the trenches now for you to try to call it. So it's like I'm just waiting to see, and I'm gonna just take my guess and say that we'll see something by early 2023. Is that we'll see what their next move is professional wrestling wise. Like of course, like you know, you've seen the videos. I'm pretty sure people have seen the videos of like Sasha, like she training in Mexico and stuff like that with Juventud, and like she had all these different schools, and I think training at Bandito's gym and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like she throwing out the little teasers and stuff like that. But like I think that's just to keep people on their toes. And like, you know, Naomi, she been doing her thing, and she could have been sort of laying to the side, man, and just chilling out. I'm pretty sure enjoying the fruits of her labors for all these 11 years she's been in WWE, 12 years or something. But like in all seriousness, like on the Naomi front, man, like despite like, you know, her not being in the company right now, like I genuinely think that she had one of WWE's best matches on the SmackDown side this year. She had a match this past February with Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown
that was a good match.
That was like, I think that was like one of the best showcases for Naomi. Like when you go back and look at that, because man, them people wanted that title switch so bad. Like they wanted to put the title, like they wanted Naomi. Again?
There you go.
Okay, we back. There we go. I'm back.
Right, go.
But yeah, like I think that was a great showcase right there for Naomi, man. And I look back very fondly on that match. But yeah, like just like Chris agreed, Nate, and I'm sure you agreed too. I have fully given up on trying to guess like what's next for them, man. Like I'm just about to wait and you know, see what they come up with in the year 2023. So yeah, hopefully is whether it's in AEW or WWE, like hopefully we get to see them back in the professional wrestling setting real soon.
Yeah. And like you said, Andrew, like the way that they've handled themselves, man, like they do embody that spirit of unity. And so, yeah, we got to shout out them good sisters, man, for what they've done this year.
And it can't be easy to do that because a lot of fans have been going in on him. Like, I've heard them saying Sasha is unruly and she's unprofessional and she's a bad influence on Naomi and just all kinds of bullshit that's unverified and you cannot prove. So how about we all shut the fuck up and let them say what their next move is going to be, because that's all we can do at this point.
Nobody knows.
Nobody
knows.
So then the question becomes, gentlemen, who do we feel should win the award this year for Kuji Chagulia?
I'm gonna say you want to know what, bro? Like
self-determination, Andrew.
I'm about to say that's a self-determination. When you want to know what, bro? Somebody that I think has like just fully like went in on themselves and like proved what they were like, what they felt they were worth is Swerve. I'm gonna say Swerve, bro. And the reason I'm saying that is because like I know like in interviews after he was gone from WWE, like he was talking about how like he was like constantly going up to Triple H and being like, man, like I want to be one of your guys, like I want to be one of your top flight talents, like just put the proverbial machine behind me and let's see what happened. And like you seeing what he doing in AEW now, man. Like he got all these connections with like all these different hip hop artists and like bringing in all these different people and stuff like that. Like he proven what he was trying to get off when he was in WWE. And like in situations like that, man, you can't do nothing but respect it, because like he took a chance on himself and he felt like, man, I can be one of the guys, and like bringing a whole lot of publicity to AEW, man. So I think that's a lot of self-determination right there. And you like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure it can't be easy to, you know, go all in on yourself like that. But I mean, I've always been of the belief that if you don't believe in yourself, then how you expect other people to believe in you? So,
right.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Chris, what do you think about Swerve for this pick?
I like Swerve. See, there's so many people. We've been through it. Our people has been through it this year in wrestling. Because I like Keith Lee as a pick in this category as well. Because I just really hated the stories that I was seeing on Keith Lee at the beginning of the year, talking about he needs to lose weight, and I got on Wade Keller about this. This is Rich Fan's boss, so you know, I made no bones about how I feel about this. It's like, to me, that was a trumped up story, you know, because unless you know this brother's medical records, unless you have an idea of what they are, you really are in no position to be fat shaming and saying, this is why he didn't get pushed. When in AEW, the guy is constantly thriving and getting better and better every week. The Acclaim, those dudes are a textbook definition of perseverance as well.
Man,
Ricochet towards the end of this year, I did not see this coming for this brother, man. You know, I'm just these are guys that were dealt stupid stuff at the beginning of the year. You know, like Ricochet was one of the biggest dweebs on television for most of 2021 in the beginning parts of 2022, and now he's in a position to where he can be rehabbed and be better. You know, I'm just, you know, and I just love our perseverance this year. So if I was gonna choose, I would for me it'd be Keith Lee, just because of all the health scares he went through. Mia Yim, she's another one. It seemed like she got put through the ringer for sticking up for her man. And to see her back in a prominent position in WWE, that's just beautiful to me as well. And I'm glad that I get to enjoy all of these people on television, whether it's Swerve, Keith Lee, the Acclaim, Mia Yim, all of them, man.
The crazy thing about this, Andrew, is, and I think Chris hit on it, man, any of our people that's out here thriving and surviving, like, damn near any of them could get this recognition. Like Ray said, Willow Nightingale. I would throw, you know, somebody like a Ricky Starks in. You know, what Ricky Starks had to come back and overcome. Like, I know this is a dude that we've talked about a lot. We got a lot of love for this brother. He's, you know, the people got their opinions about him on social media. But if you're talking about self-determination and plotting your own path, Lio Rush is somebody who marches to the beat of his own drum.
Man, you see this dude right now in Super Junior Tag League, bro. I was just last night. I had watched, like, I think the first 2 shows or the first 3 shows of Super Junior Tag League, and I wonder, but I kind of like wait to these shows happen. They up on NJPW World, like, so that the matches are like broken apart, so I ain't gotta like cipher through like the matches. But dude, Lio Rush is a fucking monster, bro. When I say that, like, this dude is like unreal, like the stuff that he does, like in ring, like, it's crazy. Like, and I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, I think him and Yo, I think they are tied for first place with like 4 other teams right now, if I'm not mistaken, from the last time I saw the standing. So what is looking like is they trying to keep it like close. So like I'm like 100% sure that Leo's gonna be working Wrestle Kingdom in January. Like he's gonna be somewhere on that card. So yeah, it's gonna be real cool to see what they got cooking up for him. You know, past right. You know, Pat like going past this tag team stuff that he's doing with Yo right now. So yeah, but I think you could throw anybody at the shit. You could throw when you talking about self-determination, you could throw in Bianca, of course. Like, hey, real quick, hey, bring me out for this conversation, bro. She is slowly being positioned as the face of one of the faces of WWE, like right there with Roman. Like she like I've seen like the joke. I don't even think it's a joke. I think people are like just calling it what it is. Like she getting the Cena treatment, bro. Like she's becoming like that, like all the they have her. They send her out to like all these events, these company events, like all these like you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about, Chris. Like those those type of like they send her all that stuff and like they send her all the meet and greets
you see the little girls with the ponytail and stuff, man.
She's becoming like that that Cena-esque, like like she's being positioned that way, and I honestly, bro, like it's kind of crazy because like I'm not gonna lie. I thought at this point the fans would turn on her. Like I really did think that. Like
I did too.
I definitely thought by at this point, like they would be like, "Oh yeah, you got to get Bianca on TV." Bro, she's still getting like some of the best reactions, like in the women's division, bro. Like she's doing like a hell of a job, and I think that's a credit to the booking, but also I think it's a credit to a lot of people have sort of seen Bianca from the ground level. Like a lot of people remember her first match, bro, like on NXT or in the Mae Young Classic, whatever it was. Like they saw her entire career play out, and like we've seen the journey like along the way. Like we've seen when she was in NXT and people was like, man, why Triple H ain't put the title on her? And he sort of missed the boat with her, and then like her going to the main roster and like instantly becoming like that person, and then to see where she is now, you know what I'm saying? The SmackDown Women's title, Raw Women's title, like she on top of the game, bro. Like she killing it right now. So it's really cool to see like Bianca like do her thing, man. Like she's right up there, like with I'm talking about when you talking about like the top people in the company, like you can rank her like anywhere in that position. And I think that on that night one of WrestleMania, I think her and Becky had the best match of the night, just strictly in ring work. So. Yeah, man, shout out to Bianca Belair, man. She's doing her thing, bro.
And I also gotta say, I'm not as bullish on Triple H's booking as a lot of other people are, but I'll give credit where it's due. I never understood Vince McMahon's ridiculous booking of Bianca Belair. Triple H is keeping it really, really simple, and he's keeping it simple with a lot of people you should be keeping it simple with, you know what I'm saying? Like Bianca Belair, there's no reason you should be having her go out there and losing belts in like 6 seconds and all that crap. That was dumb. It made no sense. That is one of the
Hey, Chris. Yeah. Let it play out, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm more apt to do that with Triple H in charge, even though I don't. Triple H still does stuff that gets on my nerves. I'm of the belief that Austin Theory, for example, does not. I think he should have been taken off of TV so you could forget about the last year with him, so I could remember him better. I think constantly trying to put this guy in a position that fans aren't ready for is a mistake, but. I'm willing to let it see it play out with that at least. When it was Vince McMahon, I wasn't with Bianca Belair. I think that Triple H has proven that he thinks she is a mainstay and a commodity.
Well, she's one of his.
Nate, that's like the thing right there. Like if you, bro, I think so. One of us said this, like when he first took over when we did that first podcast, bro. If you were a part of that NXT from like 2016 to 2019, early 2020, you are considered one of Triple H's like people, like from 2015, like from that period of like the bro, people like Kevin Owens, Sammy, Finn, Bianca, Sasha, Charlotte, Becky, like bro, they are going to be looked after because there's that thing there between them. Like he's seen Bianca from the ground level, and that's why I was even like we joke about it, but like I'm talking about with Omos, like I don't think he's going to let Omos fail, bro, because
Nope.
he sought him out, bro. Like that's one of his guys. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he's just going to let him like fizzle out and just be like, you know, whatever. You know, even though, you know, I think that, you know, Brett should he lost the Strowman at Crown Jewel, right?
Yeah.
So but
you know,
that was the first time in his life Chris was rooting for Omos.
Yeah.
But like I do like sort of just to go off topic a little bit. I do like that they sort of making Omos like the face of, like, I know they doing like the trials in Nigeria in February 2023, and they like Omos is kind of like the face of like this thing that they got going on. So like hopefully I'm pretty sure if they going over there, they not just going over. I'm pretty sure they do like a show or something like that, you know what I'm saying? But it's cool to see like Omos like, you know, branch off and stuff like that.
The problem with the old regime, which is the difference with guys like Omos, Karrion Kross, even Austin Theory and stuff, is I think before these guys were put in positions to kind of fail. You know, I don't think they were given everything they could receive to succeed. Now I think they've got a little bit more. I still think the Austin Theory stuff, I still think the geek stuff he was doing earlier in the year is just way too fresh in my mind, at least. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I need time to forget about Austin Theory and the geek shit before I cheer for him. But Omos is in better shape than he was. I don't feel like he's gonna like paralyze anybody anymore. If he seems like he's like his skills are sharpening up, and we've got a super chat.
So let's wrap up this one, and then we get to the chat. So I did want to point out a couple comments we had in the chat tonight. We had a nomination for Wes Lee. We had a nomination.
Yeah, Wesley.
That's a good one.
Here's a nomination, Andrew, that I don't know how you feel about this, nephew, but I'm kind of picking up what the good brother's putting down in the chat. Cody Devontae Rhodes was out there with that determination, bro. Bet on himself.
Don't play the video. Don't play the video. Hey, in all seriousness though, bro, like, look, I rock with Cody. You know what I'm saying? Cody seemed like he alright,
good people.
He good people. You know what I'm saying? He like we said, when we at the cookout, he got to stay in the car. Somebody bring him his
right.
You know
we can talk to you from the curb, Cody. Everything good? All right, man.
But nah, man, for him to you know what I'm saying, look, to leave a company that you started, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that wasn't an easy thing, and he wanted his big moment, Brett, and he got it. Like and like I said this yesterday on Twitter. Like I still think that Tony Khan should have stopped him from taking himself out of the AEW World Title picture. Like I think that's just that. I think that was just idiotic, and like I even think hindsight, like I just know that there's no way that Cody thought that was a good idea. But also I think that he thinks that if he won the AEW World Title, it wouldn't have counted because of his position in the company. But like now that I think that he's in WWE, I think if he wins the undisputed WWE Universal Title, it will count because there's no ties to it other than him just being a talent. There's no VP, there's no EVP. Like it's just, this is somebody else's decision, the collective group of people's decision. No, like he's not intertwined in it in any way. Right. Like it's just like he is the talent, and if they want him to be the world champion, then that's going to be strictly their decision with no like emotional ties to this dude who helped founded this company, and you feel like you owe him one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying?
I'll say this about Cody, because towards the end of his run in AEW, he was doing and saying a lot of stuff that I don't think it was the stuff he was saying was reckless. I think he was trying to say good words. He just got himself like stuck in these ridiculous word salads.
The Cody verse.
Yeah, every time he talked, and it was just kind of tough for him to get himself out. And you know, wrestling fans are unrelenting when it comes to that kind of thing, you know. So I think going to WWE was good for him to do. when he did it. I do think that he's I don't think he's long for the WWE world. I think he'll be there because I do think AEW is his home. But for now, I think that he can do a lot of good stuff in WWE, and Cody is a creative. I think that is his strong suit. Cody was so good on those media scrum calls. He was way better than Tony Khan, and that's not to say Tony Khan is horrible at it. Cody Rhodes,
he's very good at like fielding answers to questions, bro. Like he
never sounded like he was trying to dodge anything.
Yeah, he's a smart dude, bro.
Yeah, I think that's his true positioning and calling. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully he could go back to AEW and win the world title there without all of the you're a booker stuff, because I think Cody Rhodes at the end of the day, he is a booker, and I think that
his father, man.
He's
his father, man.
Yeah,
son of a plumber.
He's a creative.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to point out, and if you could pull it up, Bruce Lord right there, Contra Soma, who just sent in a $10 super chat, and he said, speaking of Triple H's book and AEW's book and the Black Talent was one of your major topics throughout the year. How would you evaluate AEW in that regard now compared to the
I'd say it's way better. I mean, I don't think they're like the best. Thank you for that, Bruce. But they're better. I mean, if I'm just objectively speaking, I was always complaining because these guys were never on Wednesday night TV, and now they're on Wednesday night TV. I had pen to paper. I had the article written up. There was two weeks in a row, like in early September, where there was no black talent on Dynamite. And then finally, like every week after that, there was black talent on Dynamite, and they were in prominent roles. And I was like, well, there's that article.
Right.
I was like, I can't even do it, because they were on TV and they were doing stuff. Right. That was always my issue with AEW. And then like
those out of conference games.
Right. Yeah. That's to me, Andrew, that's the biggest improvement, is we're starting to get some out of conference games, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't have to be in these SWAC and MEAC conflicts anymore. You know, we can bridge out into the ACC and the Pac-12.
Yeah, you have the Acclaim winning the Acclaim winning the tag titles. Swerve and Lee winning the tag titles.
Ricky Starks got a little push.
Yeah, because I was pissed at the beginning of the year with the way they did Scorpio Sky, but they made it. They did kind of do some make good. Ricky Starks looks like he's about to be on the come up, and just they've done. Yeah,
no, like with AEW in terms of like the book and the black talents, I'm kind of like in the same boat with y'all in terms of like it's been. But this year it hasn't been bad. Like, but it's been like I would say the right term to use is like at the beginning was inconsistent. I think that's the right word to use. But like now, like dude, it's so much better. Like in terms of like the presentation of black talents in AEW and how like like how Chris said, I think it was more so about like them doing meaningful stuff and not just being thrown on TV just for the sake of being thrown on TV. And like even with Jade Cargill, like. I feel like they have done a good job of letting her grow into her own. Like, and I think even now it's still the in-ring work is still a work in progress. Like, I think that's gonna come. Like she's still fresh in the business. But she 2 years deep now. So you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that's gonna come, and the more she keep working with Danielson and the more she keep learning and stuff like that, I think it'll start becoming the more smooth. It ain't the smoothest, but like I think that Jay's presence that can sort of bypass that a little bit, and she can use that star presence that she has, and she's good on the mic and stuff like that, and she has that she has that presence about her, and I think that can sort of that can make up for like the in-ring stuff for the now.
Right.
But I think she's not great at, Andrew, is stuff that you can teach.
Yeah,
what she is great at is stuff you can't teach.
But you can't just find people that look like Jay Cargill, man. But like even with like you said with Ricky Starks, like he challenging for the AEW World Title, and when it's coming, I think that's next 2 weeks from now. Next week, Ricky Starks doing this thing, man, and Powerhouse Hobbs look like he in the mix. You know, he just challenged for the TNT title at Full Gear, and it looked like he's still in the mix.
Stokely in the building.
So hey, hold on real quick. So I'm so glad you said that, Nate. Bro, did y'all hear his podcast that he did with Renee?
I did. It was good stuff. Yeah.
So first of all, he talked about like the firm was supposed to be something completely different from what it is right now. Like that thing was supposed to be primarily centered around him feuding with CM Punk. And the crazy thing is, well, it's not crazy, but CM Punk wanted to work with Stoke. Like that CM Punk, like he wanted to work with him. Right. Like that was supposed to be a thing. But you know, with the press conference and shit, that changed like everything, and the firm had to get rerouted. But he was like, one of the craziest things or crazier things that he talked about, and when I say crazy, I don't mean like bad. I mean like just like shocking, revealing type stuff. Was when he talked about how when he was still in WWE, I think this said this was in February, he checked himself into a mental rehabilitation center, and he stayed there for a weekend, and he was like he felt like there was nobody that he could really talk to, like even with family, like he just felt like he was very like in his own headspace, and he wasn't feeling like the best. So he checked himself into that facility, and then like he stayed in there and was just like, you know, he wanted to make the gist of what he was saying was he didn't feel like he had that many resources to go to, so he felt like he had to take that route. But he realized like he said that maybe that wasn't the best place for him. Go ahead, Chris.
It wasn't the best place for him. So I'm a psychology major, that was just not a good idea, Stokely. Anybody that's ever considering checking yourself into a mental institution, understand that a mental institution is just like jail. They will take your phone away. They will check you. There's a bedtime. There's a dinner time. You're going to be around other people. But what you need to do more. The best place to go to if you're having a situation like that is to just go to a hospital, and they will do you better than going to a mental institution, because a mental institution you're gonna be treated like
a patient.
They're going to treat you like a patient. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. But yeah, that was a crazy, crazy story. How he was talking about how he read Malcolm X's autobiography again. He was talking about how he felt the empowerment he felt being in an all-black faction in AEW.
Yeah, that was cool, bro.
With the ladies, it was like that was a very, very good interview with them. But yeah, I just don't check yourself into a mental institution.
You want to know one of the things that he said that really stood out to me the most is he was like, he thinks like him always being like the funny guy. Like never like, but because he presents himself in that way that like it can be difficult for people to take him seriously when he says stuff like I'm not well mentally, like because he's always like comes off like the jovial, like hey, if you need a laugh, go to Stoke. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to laugh at something, you want to joke about it, and that motherfucker's funny, bro. Like he is funny, bro. Like but like I really understood what he was saying when he was like, him always being that person, like it can be difficult to like talk to others in a serious manner in terms of like your mental health, because people always think you on joke time and shit like that. Like you know what I'm saying, bro? He was hurting. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't feeling his best. So I think it takes a lot for him to open up like that and to say the stuff that he said on a public platform. Because like once you especially the way he was talking, like he said that he's a very like secluded individual, like he likes his space, he ain't really like all like social and stuff like that, despite what he presents himself as on TV and so like that's not him, like he's very to himself. But like I commend him, because like when you are to yourself, when you're very like secluded, like once you put that stuff out there on the internet, bro, you can't, you know what I'm saying, that's out there. So like I think that's real big on his part.
And you don't know like who his story is going to help Andrew, because mental health is still, even though there's more awareness about it, it's still something that men in general and black men in particular and brown men in particular is still something that we struggle talking about and expressing. So yeah, all the props in the world to Stoke for telling his story, because who knows who that could help and who that could affect.
And shout out to Bruce again for spawning this whole. Yeah, shout out to that man Bruce over there who do some of the podcasts on Post.
Yeah, and then I always say that the worst kind of racism that black folks go through is just forgetting that we are black and that we are different and our needs are not the same as our white counterparts. I think what happens with us a lot of times is you put us in these situations like what would happen with Bianca Belair when they had her lose in 6 seconds or whatever. It's like you put her in that position, but you do not consider the cultural implications of doing something like that, right? And you do not consider how when we represent our people, it is not the same as John Cena going out there and representing, all the big masses, because kids need to see people that look like them on television, and they need to see us doing good things. This doesn't mean I put the world championship on every black person, but at the very least give them a storyline they could sink their teeth into, and that you're just not giving them marching orders and expecting them to do it. And that was a problem with WWE, and that was a problem with AEW, because I wrote about AEW a bunch. I'm seeing guys in that company and women from Big Swole to Jonathan Gresham.
You want to know what's crazy? That was 1 year ago.
1 year ago.
1 4 year. The Big Swoles, that was 1 year ago, bro.
Yeah, it was a year ago, and it just never seemed like that situation ever got repaired.
I think
it got spilled over to some of the white talent in there, because it's like you're with the issue with Tony Khan is he like lives in this constant state of euphoria that he got he got a wrestling company off the ground on Turner Networks, which is a big media company, just Warner Brothers Discovery or whatever. And he was able to sign. He was able to sign CM Punk. He was able to stand Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, all these talents. But I think a lot of people with legitimate complaints in AEW get ignored and are not getting taken seriously. And this is a mental health thing. It's like you gotta know what you're dealing with, right? And don't just expect everybody to be happy all the time. That's my biggest problem with AEW. Is just I think it seems like they're working towards some of that stuff, but there's still issues in that company. And we'll talk about it. Did you want to do who's that?
So let's wrap up our awards before we get too far afield.
Yeah,
we still got 4 days left in the Kwanzaa calendar board.
Yeah, we got a bunch.
So we got Ujima is next up. Collective work and responsibility. So who do we feel like represents the greatest good, like the collective work, like who's been most responsible with their platform or their position or their role in this space?
Shit, you say Titus O'Neil. Shit, he knew, man. Like talk about the stuff Titus do, like and bro, and Chris and Nate, I know we all talked about this when remember when after Vince McMahon, when he was going through his whole when all this scandalous stuff was coming out, and he sent Titus O'Neil out there for that PSA on Monday Night Raw, like, but they sent him out there. But, matter of fact, we could. I'm gonna get my point off, but Chris, go. I feel like you want to touch on that, so go ahead and.
I can't give that award to Titus O'Neil just for exactly what you just mentioned. You gotta say no to that kind of shit, my brother. I get it, but and I'm speaking to myself as well, not just Titus. When someone asks you that was Vince McMahon's hill to die on, you shouldn't have went out there and did that. Yeah,
he definitely put Titus in a bad position. But like, I mean,
not the first time.
Not the first time.
Yeah,
I think that, like, even hearing Titus's like responses to it, it's very like, I don't want to cause a stir type of thing. Like, and I don't want to say something that's going to cost me my position or my, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how it come on. But like, more so when I was talking about like in terms of like the collective work and responsibility, I was more so referring to like the stuff he's doing like outside.
Yeah,
like,
he's doing a lot of
good
stuff.
You know
Yeah, he does a lot of good community stuff.
Got the Bullard Family Foundation and all that cool stuff. But like, if we even talk about just like bringing people together, bringing people of color together, Black people together, like, just to shout out somebody that somebody that gets some attention, but like not that much, is the wrestler named Roy Johnson. He does this show called I think it's called Always Pattern or Everything Pattern. He does it like in conjunction like with Progress Wrestling, and it's like he brings in like a bunch of people of color, man. Does like these shows, man, and I think he does it once a year, and it's always like an abundance of different talents, like people who I've never seen before, like some about wrestling wise, like, and you know, he'll bring these people like different. It's not all. It's like any and everybody who is of color is welcomed in this show, and like he presents different people and spotlights them and stuff like that. And it's a cool thing. I heard about it. I first heard about it last year, and I saw like bits and pieces of the show this year. Like I seen like clips and stuff on social media that people was posting like these full-length clips and stuff like that, and it looked like a very cool show, man, to go check out, and especially be there in person. I actually got to talk to Leon Slater, who young dude out of the UK who was a part of that show, and he talked about like the environment and just being a young wrestler and being able to be around so many people that sort of that look like him, and like how like sort of inspirational that was and stuff like that. So yeah, shout out to just to get somebody else some credit who's not really like in the public eye like that.
Yeah.
So shout out to Roy Johnson for the work that he does over there in the UK. Shout out to that brother.
Yeah.
Okay. So Chris, if you're not going with Titus, who would you pick? Because I once Andrew talked about kind of the stuff Titus does in the community, like you can't knock the brother for that.
No, not at all.
With him. So who you got?
I'm gonna go with someone outside of the culture, Mick Foley. Just because I during all of this Twitter nonsense,
I ain't mean to come, but like the thing about Mick, and I ain't got no issue with Mick, but like I can't, like, especially back in 2020, but I cannot stand those people who was doing like that. Well, if you're like what they was, I'm losing followers because I'm like tweeting about like black, like promoting black people, like I'm losing all these followers. I mean that's not. It seems like a very minuscule thing, but like I just it feels like they are more concerned about losing their following count when they tweet about this stuff, opposed to like just doing it from like just the goodness of just being a decent person. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
I know it's exactly what you're saying. I never took it like that from Mick Foley. I think he was just legitimately saying, because it's not like he stopped doing it. Shit, he kept digging into it, and he was losing followers daily because of it. Because there is a very racist underbelly in wrestling, man. Oh yeah, I respect the fact that Mick Foley got off of Twitter, because Twitter is a toxic place. And I use Twitter a lot today. I don't use it as much as I used to because I just don't know what I'm supporting anymore. And I'm not going to judge anybody who's on Twitter. Helps this show a lot out as far as just me being able to reach people. I got, was it like 2,500 followers? I'm sure about 1,000 of those people are bots. But I do think at least 1,000 of them are real people from
shout
out to the guy TAA in the comments.
He said I didn't know we could choose an outside candidate. Give me an inside candidate, because I'm just like I said,
if we choose an outside candidates, man, Kevin Nash, come on now, Chris.
I like Kevin Nash. Bro.
Kevin Nash out here for the culture.
I like Kevin Nash, but hey, bro, he like I know this ain't got nothing to do with it, bro. But he experienced like a lot of like fucked up shit this year, like Scott Hall, his son. You know what I'm saying? Like that's rough, dog. Like but he you know what I'm saying? Like to go through that, he seemed like he, you know what I'm saying? He holding up as best as he can. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure behind closed doors, it's easy to be more vulnerable and stuff like that. But like, yeah, shout out to
I'm gonna give it to Brandy Rhodes for all the stuff that she did with like Culture City. She's another one of those people that got undue blame for shit that she's got no control over. I didn't like the way that
Chris, let her know Brandy still got the invite on the show, man. It's open.
Yeah. She's still someone that I definitely
rolls over to 23.
Want to talk to, because I think being a black woman.
Hey Nate, play the clip. Play the clip, Nate.
I'm saving the clip, Andrew. I'm saving the clip for a special reason. But we're gonna find out at the end of the program.
What you were saying, Chris?
Yeah, I'm just saying, just being a black woman in a white man's wrestling space can't be hard. It can't be easy to do, and I don't think she really gets the props that she deserves, and I think when a lot of people in the wrestling media were writing about her, were like, they like Cody, but Brandy's the problem. Like, do you know how fucking racist that sounds to a person like me? And I'm not even saying you're trying to you're trying to be racist, but don't do that shit. Don't say that kind of shit. If you're gonna say that kind of shit, at least word it a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Just because that just did not come off right to me, Yeah, that's my thing. Shout out to Matt Golden. I met him in New Jersey as well. I see him in the chat.
Yes. Keep the comments coming and the super chats coming. We'll get to as many as we can before the end of the show. But I think I'm gonna break the tie. I'm gonna go with Andrew and go with Titus on that. Our next category, we got a couple more categories left. We got Ujamaa, which is cooperative economics. This one's kind of hard to peg down because cooperative economics in this sense would imply that there's a lot of people in the culture that have power to make changes in this business, in this industry. We do have a couple of folks out here, Andrew, that are running their own promotions or that are doing their own things from a business standpoint. So is there anybody that kind of stands out to you as somebody that exemplifies like just that economic force in the business?
If I had to think of somebody that's like, in terms of like somebody that has that power, in terms of like their own wrestling space, bro, I would say I'm gonna say Andy Quildan, who's the owner of Revolution Pro Wrestling out in the UK. Like bro, he does like a really, really solid job, and like I want to give him credit because like when back in 2020 when Speaking Out was happening, or like after it happened, or shortly after it happened, like when it was in the thick of it, like he wasn't like running away from like doing media and stuff like that. Like he was, you know what I'm saying? And it was some stuff, he was getting cooked for some stuff like that I saw on Twitter, but like for somebody to be in his position to be a black booker at that, who is leading his own wrestling promotion and like sort of be open to throw yourself into the fire. When I saw like it was a couple other promoters in the UK who sort of like they was not touching it at all. Like they ain't want no parts of it. Like even if they had wrestlers who were like actively in those promotions who got called out for stuff, like they was like, I don't want nothing to do with that. I ain't answering no questions. Like he was out there, bro, and he was taking it, and he was, taking the good with the bad, and Andy Quildan was doing this thing. He's still doing this thing. He's doing a great thing. Like I know they just did the British J Cup. I want to believe it had Leo in there. It had, like I mentioned, the young dude Leon Slater in there, and like when I interviewed, I didn't interview Andy, but he came on Bushby and Thompson one time with myself and Martin. I think the review Beyond the Mat, and we were sort of talking about that, and like he's very aware of what representation means in wrestling, and like by him having his own promotion, like knowing that it's important to have people of color and black people in these positions where it's not like they're just another body. Like they are like prominent pieces or like within the infrastructure of what he's trying to present overall, but also having an open mindset, like including everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like he's very aware of that stuff. So yeah, if I had to get anybody an award in terms of somebody that has like that power, I'm gonna say Andy Quildan, man. So yeah, shout out to Andy out there in the UK. Shout out to all the UK guys. That's doing something good. All the UK brothers and sisters out there. So yeah, Andy Quildan. That's what I'm real with.
Okay, that's a good pick, Chris. Any thoughts on this particular category?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to the wrestling journalists. Not myself because I'm an opinion writer, but like people like Andrew and Rich Fan and Will Washington, Righteous Reg, Phil Lindsay, all those people that like cover this and kind of give a voice to black wrestlers that I think has been missing in this space for such a long time. Okay. Like I just remember in our early days, we would be like on the old Law Facebook page, and we would be like the only it was you, me, and a few other black guys, and we'd be like the only ones standing up for black wrestlers. I will never forget
the law of domination.
Yeah, I will never forget how some of these wrestling fans went in on Awesome Kong, Kia Stevens, and we were just like, they're calling her irresponsible for getting pregnant and shit like that. And
okay, so but
we were just not having that shit, man. I just remember
that was the episode right there.
Yeah. That episode is what really kind of caused me to like think about things differently, like some of the language that I used to use and some of the like the cultures that I probably ignored. I was like, I might need to reassess some things, right? And then to just see, Reg and Phil and Andrew and just the people, Rich, all the people, all the black folks,
Sid, SP3.
Most of our people. We ain't gonna say all. They know who they are.
Yeah, but just
I'm just saying, Chris. They know who they are.
Yeah. No need to
say some names, Nick.
Right. But to Chris's point, though, like I think I like what Chris is saying here. I would extend it one step further. Since this is the cooperative category, not only our good brothers and sisters that are out here, in this space, kind of telling these stories and covering these stories through our lens, through our perspective, but also, the people outside the culture, that have been generous with their platforms, right?
Man, hey, bro, Nate, I feel like I know you about to bring this up, bro. That podcast that me, you, John, and Wade did after the George Floyd, bro. That was like that, bro. I like that. That shit was heavy, bro.
Yeah.
That was heavy, and I ain't gonna cut you off, Nate, but I feel like
shout out to John and Wade too, because I've been knowing these guys for forever, and I've seen their growth. They were apolitical guys that did not want to talk about this stuff back in 2010, 2011, and
that was a time where it was much more easy to be apolitical.
Right, yeah, and they've stepped up to the plate when others in the professional wrestling media space have not. That's the thing. It's like I've seen so many people that are afraid to rage against bad stuff when it happens, and it should never be like that. We as Black people should never feel like we have to fight these battles by ourselves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And for the longest time, I kind of felt like that in these spaces, I felt like, and I also want to shout out Mike Knox too. I don't want to leave him out. I want to talk about everybody that does this.
Public Enemies.
Yeah. Public Enemies. Anybody that does this for a living, and this is, your primary source of income. I got nothing but respect for, because like I said, one of the jobs that I work at is, I'm not doing it next semester, but one of the jobs that I work at is teaching at a jail, and then hearing those stories, and like, there's just a lot of good news stories, but a lot of bad news stories as well. And then also hearing about all just the fucked up shit that happens in wrestling, it really does take a toll on you psychologically. You know what I'm saying? It's like, There's only so much of that shit I can take. So I'm glad that I've got people who study this stuff a little bit more than I do, and do a lot more research and put themselves in front of, podcasts for hours, reading stuff for hours, and just doing all that stuff that I just don't want to do. So because the last thing I want to do is get off of working at the jail and then dealing with these grown ass wrestlers that don't know how to act right either. So
But like, when you talk about like the wrestling media aspect, bro, like but like, so when I first, like, it's people that was like y'all been in this wrestling media space for a long time, like just talking about wrestling and covering wrestling and stuff like that. I've been doing that for a while, and I know it's been like an abundance of other people too that have been doing this. People of color, like, so like when I look back at like 2017 and like what the space looked like. But it wasn't even too many black wrestling news writers. Like I felt like for a while I was not so, but like I wouldn't know of too many people like other than myself who was doing like, and of course it was people out there doing it, but like I'm talking about, I wasn't aware. So, but like as the time went on, bro, and you start seeing like the people that we just mentioned, the SIDS.
The pandemic to me, Andrew, is what kind of popped it off, because we had time to kind of both collectively and individually get that message out there.
For sure. And I've never seen just in my lifetime, like I've never seen black people so united like that during that summer 2020 period. Like, that shit was like, again, when I say crazy, I don't mean crazy in a bad way. I mean like it was like wow type stuff. Like I'm talking about, we was we was one, bro, for like that whole summer, seeing everybody jump on Chris Jericho. That was that's always fun. You know what I'm saying? And like even like it was like sort of came together, like even when the Capitol stuff was going on in January 2021, when that happened, like it, even though we was like passing that off, it's like that's like white folk shit that was doing that, but like still, like I'm talking about just the comparison of like, imagine if that was black people doing some shit like that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Man, but they got out, they knocked our ass up something serious. If the roles were reversed, it would have been so much worse. But like, but my thing is, but like I'm like always impressed at like how we as people, bro, are always able to find like the humor and shit. Like bro, it can, I'm talking about, it could be like the worst situation, bro, and like we as like people, as black people, we can always find like some type of like silver lining or some type of joke or just something to ease the tension, right? And like we are like the best like at that, like just even moments like I just mentioned, like that stuff makes you proud to be black, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. To see how we carry stuff, like I don't think no group, no ethnicity, nobody is perfect, but like I'm like very, very proud to be black, you know what I'm saying. That shit means something, bro. So yeah, it's cool.
And that ties directly into the next category, Andrew, which
Look
is
at that.
The next day is Nia, which is purpose. And I think, like you said, like a lot of people have found their voice and found their purpose these last couple of years. And to continue that line of thought, man, I feel like we're just kind of at the tipping point of that, right? Like we've got voices that haven't been heard before. We've got people appearing on these shows, on these wrestling shows that weren't getting opportunities, 4 or 5 years ago. So is there anybody that stood out to you in 2022 of be like, yo, that brother, that sister, they moving with purpose. They are moving out here with a plan, and they are making moves this year.
Can you think of somebody, Chris, off the top?
Yeah, I can think of too many people, but go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, I was asking you so I could have some time to think.
Yeah. So I think, like, so for me, it'd be someone like a Jade Cargill.
Okay.
Just watching her. She was on the Breakfast Club this year, which I thought was really, really cool, and just being able to answer questions in such a good way, I'm interested in this stuff she's about to do with Bow Wow. I want is Brandon Phillips gonna get involved? And I don't think
got his DVD copy of Like Mike.
Right. I don't think a lot of people understand how accomplished Jade Cargill's husband, Brandon Phillips, is.
Yeah, but wasn't bro like he was in Major Leagues, wasn't he?
He was a Golden Glove. He is a future Hall of Famer. He's no joke. I know, like, because I'm
White Sox, I think
he's Phillies, right?
White Sox or Phillies, right. I think it's either one of them. Either way, bro was in the league. But he's the real deal. So when she's telling Bow Wow, hey, I got a man, that's got money. The Brandon Phillips is the real deal. So, but I just
Bruce pointed out in the chat. Phillips was with the Reds in Cincinnati.
Okay, cool.
The Reds, cool. Yeah. He was, but yeah, he was just the shit. And I'm a Dodgers fan, so like the black players, I always make sure I know who the black players are, because I grew up in the '90s with Kenny Lofton and Ken Griffey Jr., Del Strawberry,
Bo Jackson,
Ryan
Gant. We could be. Marcus and I once had an idea, Andrew. Mark, shout out to the good brother Marcus Vanderberg out there on the LA streets. When we were like doing the Kings of Sport, we just got on this tangent one week about black baseball players and the lack of black baseball stars, these days. Yeah. And we were like, yo, we should start a black baseball player podcast. And like the plans for that show was great, Andrew. We had some great plans. Kenny Lofton and Patrick Mahomes' daddy, and so many great players we were talking about.
Gary Sheffield,
Gary Sheffield, man. Terry Pendleton. Otis Nixon, come on.
It just feels like so like crazy to just say that you lived through that era, where it was just Barry Bonds, just all of these just superstar beasts on the baseball field, man. But man, it's Jade is definitely someone that I think is crossing over in the right way. I think she's an example to other wrestlers, people that told her that she needed to give up a long time ago, and she's laughing in their face today. It's just great stuff, man.
She's moving with purpose.
She's definitely moving with purpose, and I just, again, like I wait for the day when Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill get to have a match. I don't care where it's at. That's something I want to see. I want to see that as much as I want to see the Lakers and Clippers play in the playoffs one year. It's never going to happen, but I want to see it at least once before I leave.
I think it happened this year.
It could happen this year in the in the play-in tournament.
yeah.
But here's the thing, Chris. I'm seconding your pick for Jade for purpose. But I've got a pick. Like most of these, I let y'all lead the picks. I got one pick that stands out in my mind for the next category, which is Kumba, creativity. And we talked about these brothers before on the show tonight. I'm gonna give it up for them boys that have figured out a way they were already popular, but they found a way to take it to that next level. And I just got 4 words for you, Chris. Scissor me.
Yeah.
Daddy ass. The Acclaim, to me, it gets the creativity award for this year. What do y'all think about that?
I think that's very hard to disagree with.
Yeah.
The Acclaim, right? I'm talking about in terms of like not disagreeing that it's wrong. I mean, like come up with somebody else. Like just off the top, I'm pretty sure it's plenty of other people that have, you know what I'm saying, that have these like creative minds and stuff like that. But I don't think the Acclaim was ever supposed to work as good as it is. Like they are like they get some of the, if not the best weekly reactions on AEW.
Yeah.
Like people fucking love like the Caster and Bowens, and they love Billy Gunn and stuff like that. But like to see where they were 2 years ago, and like I even remember the first time when I like really got interested in them was when he when Caster dropped that Oral Sessions line about Renee Paquette to Moxley. I was like, oh shit! I was like, oh, there you go. But like I think like that was like the first time where I like really was like, oh, let me start paying attention to these dudes, man. But like it's been crazy to see like the natural, like, and I think that's the most important thing with the Acclaim, bro. It's like again they are a Tony Khan project, if you will. Like he was like, I always wanted these dudes who the Acclaimed who could, you know what I'm saying, who are exactly what they are now. But like I think it's been very cool, like the fact that their growth and their popularity is natural, it's not forced. Like this wasn't like some contrived thing. Like
it shouldn't work, Andrew. It shouldn't work.
It should work, bro.
And
like
there's days, Andrew, like when I'm on an exercise bike and I'll just throw the Spotify on shuffle, and one of Max's raps comes on, I'm like, this actually ain't bad, man. It ain't bad, brother.
Yeah. And shout out to Rich Caster, Max Caster's
that's his dad, right?
Yeah.
His dad played for the Washington Commanders, was Redskins back in the day, right?
He played for the Redskins. He played for the Saints. He played for the Jets. He was a bad boy. Yeah, man. In the Acclaim, you could kind of tell they were bought in to be kind of a joke tag team, and they found a way to get over. And
boy, are they over.
Yeah, yes. and I because at the beginning of the year, this seems like forever ago. But I did not think they would be in the position that they're in right now. Even with Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn is getting
they didn't give this man a whole second act.
Yeah,
career resurgence, bro.
Yeah, getting Billy Gunn chance in the DX reunion. Something that they probably should have worked out to bring him on TV, but he would have taken the shine off of
he definitely would have
the WWE guys. But yeah, so it's like those brothers, man. Enough can't be said about them, man. No. And that tag team division has really it's done me good to see Swerve and Keith Lee. And the Acclaim.
Shane Taylor just popped up.
Man.
Shane Taylor, yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Same here.
Final category, fellas. The last day of Kwanzaa is all about Imani, which is faith. So this could be, I'll leave it open to interpretation, Andrew. This could be somebody that you have faith in, somebody that shows faith. Like who we looking at, Chris, in this category? Because I got somebody in mind, but I want to hear you guys' thoughts first.
Get yours first, Nate. Who you think about?
Okay, so when I think about faith, I'm thinking about somebody that has a lot of the other traits we talked about. Somebody that overcomes the odds, somebody that's creative, somebody that you can tell they put their heart into everything. And I'm also looking at it from the lens of the faith I want to put in this person to be the best that they can be. And it's somebody we've talked about for a lot of times on this program. He might be the dude that his picture graces the cover of this episode in your podcast player. And it is our brother, Big E Langston.
Yeah. Shout out to E, man.
Yeah,
but that's a when you like the way you just described it, because I mean, no, of course know what faith mean, but like I was trying to like figure out like exactly like what in terms of like the category, but like but now that you like sort of broke it down, I feel like Big E, that's like a great pick, like somebody that's bro. But if you talking about weathering the storm, bro, that's like, I'm pretty sure like.
Yo, Andrew, not to cut you off, nephew.
No, you good.
Just seeing that video from Up, Down, Down last week.
Yeah,
when Big E came out like as this Kofi surprise guest for the tournament, that just made me smile, man. It's like just to see that brother doing what that brother does, like even if he's not in the ring, it's like you just want good things for that man.
But like even I remember we talked about it like when he did that interview. Like not too long after he got injured, and he was just like, bro, like if I'm done in the ring, you know what I'm saying? If this is it, like I'm good with it. You know what I'm saying? Like he reached that sort of peace level, I guess. Like that he's like comfortable with, the fact that if his in-ring career is over, like then, it is what it is. And like I think for somebody to have been WWE champion just a mere couple months ago. I'm talking about like in terms of like when he said that, and to already like to have that serious injury where he has openly said that if it was like even a couple of centimeters to the left or to the right, it could have been fatal. You know what I'm saying? For him to have that mindset that like, bro, I'm just grateful to be alive at this point. Like the wrestling stuff like that, if that's gonna happen, that's gonna happen. If it don't, then it is what it is. Like I'm glad to be here. But like you want to know what, bro? I think that he'll be back. I don't know if it'll be 2023, but I think he'll be back. But like
that's going to be a crazy pop when that brother come back.
A crazy reaction, crazy pop, and I want them to keep him off of TV. Like if they know that there's a chance that this dude is coming back, I don't want to see him on Raw. I don't want to see him on SmackDown. I don't want to see him doing no commentary. Like I want Big E out of the blind. Like he can do the up down stuff, but save the big moment for like when it's go time. You know what I'm saying? But like either way, like he like the lead man. For they NIL tour that they doing. Like they going to these different campuses. Like Big E, that's the front guy, like as he plays sports, and you know what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So I think when you talk about like that pick in terms of like the favorite stuff, that's a great pick. Like somebody you can even throw out there as a potential name for that is like Leo Rush, talking about weathering the storm and like being through a lot and going through a lot. Like we've talked about Leo countless times on this podcast. And like just talking about like the shit that he been through, just not even this year, but like just in his career, like the WWE stuff as well. Him, saying what he said, like when the big stole stuff was happening, and he spoke out about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like weathering the storm, bro, and just staying the course and trying not to get knocked off and stuff like that. And despite all the I know people like to make the retirement jokes and all that type of shit, but what I'm saying, like
which are played out.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, bro. So when I see people make jokes about this, it's like I always look, especially like as I get older and become like more wiser. It's like, bro, everybody is wired different, bro, and everybody has different ways to go about stuff. Not everybody is able to keep their quote unquote their heart on the inside. Not everybody is equipped like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people who wear their stuff on their sleeve and like they gotta express that and they gotta show that, and it's difficult for them to keep that internal, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like there needs to be like that conversation about like it's okay to be emotional. You know what I'm saying? You can be emotional. You know what I'm saying? You can express that, especially as a black man or a black woman. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta be forward fucking tough all the time. You know what I'm saying? You can just be you know what I'm saying? You can just be who you are as an individual, bro. So like I would say if I had just to throw like another name out there, I could say Leo Rush, but I think I'm a roll with Big E, man.
Big E.
I think that's the guy.
So, Chris, before we get your thoughts on Big E, as a show, we have to be responsible. And shout out for the super chat because, yeah, we messed up, Chris. Well, you messed up, but we going to take it all together as a team.
The Sir Anthony said their names out of Washington. Racial slurs. Get it right. Yeah, the Washington football team, Washington Commanders.
I am Native American also, and this isn't a joke. My family lives in Lake Waccamaw, North Carolina. We are the Lake Waccamaw Siouan Indians. I go in front of tribunals to keep that up. So just
talk
let
to him,
you,
Chris.
Just letting you know.
Say it, Chris.
I'm not gonna be. I don't agree with the slurs and stuff, but I'm just letting y'all know.
Tell him stay in his lane, Chris. But thank you for the super chat. But stay in your lane.
Yeah, that's my blood right Chris. There. But yeah,
the tribal chief has spoken.
The tribal chief.
Yeah. Look us up though. The Lake Waccamaw Siouan.
Talk about the tribal chief.
Yeah. But
man, that's why I love this show. But Chris, real quick, your thoughts on brother Big E?
Yeah, Big E is my pick, but I am gonna give an honorable mention to Bobby Lashley.
Okay.
Because
turn the corner.
WWE cannot turn this guy heel. I think they tried to turn him heel a few months ago. Or a month or so ago. I think that's what it was.
Last year been babyface all the way.
Yeah, but it seems like they were trying to do some kind of double turn with him and Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
it failed because nobody wants to boo Bobby Lashley. I don't think Bobby Lashley. I think Bobby Lashley is at a point in his career.
And low key, people really wasn't trying to boo Seth either.
Yeah, it's like you're barking up the wrong tree, trying to turn Lashley into a heel. Like all this dude does is beat people's ass. He's not getting booed. I got complete faith in Bobby Lashley to just be as relevant as he wants to be for the remainder of his career. But yeah, definitely Big E. And Kofi, I wish I could say that I had the faith in him.
Hey, bro, they turned him into the Royal Rumble guy again.
Yeah. And I think I think Kofi is just at the point in his career where he just doesn't.
Man, Andrew, they almost got me on Friday with that Gunther match.
Yeah,
I was like, it was gonna be good. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But they've turned him into a guy that's used to bring other guys to the next level, and I think he deserves better than that.
Oh, definitely.
It is what it is, but these are people I have faith in. Kofi unfortunately is not that anymore, but Big E, Lashley, yeah.
I saw somebody in the chat. I think it was Del Diddy. He said he has faith in Ricochet finally.
Yeah, I do too. I think as long as they're doing, the Vince McMahon, that was so mind-numbingly, astronomically stupid. This is why Vince McMahon is the reason why people discriminate against people north of 70, because you see that stuff and what happens is people start stereotyping every 70-year-old as Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is a special kind of idiot. To do Ricochet the way he did him, like the superhero, the stuff.
Hey, Chris, can I ask you something though, bro? Like, are you like really surprised? Like, how
not really, because you can't be surprised. After you get like, if you let a coyote loose in the neighborhood and they start eating pets and stuff. After a while, you kind of just have to know this is what coyotes do.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, the Professor Chris Ely.
Yeah.
So in the chat, Anthony, who been rocking with us all night, he said if we talking about weathering the storm, his vote is Mustafa Ali. Ooh. Shit, Ali still weathering the storm. He's still getting his ass beat on TV every week. He ain't weathering nothing. He just getting smoked on TV every week. With Ali though, I think that's a real interesting conversation because like when he came up to the main roster, like first of all, Ali was doing some of his best work on 205 Live, like, and that was when I was like an avid viewer of 205. Like I loved that show, bro, because it was just wrestling for 1 hour. It wasn't nothing. It was just they were just having bangers on that show. I used to love watching 205 Live, and like I was at where Ali got called up, and the thing was, Ali coming to the main roster was not a Vince thing. He didn't ask for Ali. The only reason Mustafa Ali is on the main roster is because of Bryan Danielson, and he asked for him to be on the main roster because they kept having Danielson work the same fucking people, and he got tired of that. So he was like, I need a new baby face, and then they called up Ali, and that's why he got called up. And like even with when Ali was supposed to be in that Elimination Chamber match, and then he got injured, and then that's kicked off Kofi Mania. I always felt like, and we've all said this is beaten down at this point, that he should have been the first person after Kofi win the title to challenge for the title because it made sense. You got a guy who was supposed to be in that spot. I don't think Ali was going to have that Kofi Mania moment. I just don't. I don't.
It was
a very specific set of circumstances.
I think that he was being geared up for a babyface United States Intercontinental title run. Right. I don't think that there was any way that he was going to come out of that as WWE champion. I think with Kofi, that was just right time,
lightning
right
in the bottle.
Place. Yeah, like Kofi had enough equity for the years that he was in WWE, and people were so already invested in this dude that they was like, he is finally getting his shot. We need to go full force. I even remember when that happened at the Elimination Chamber 2019. I remember when that happened, bro. That was the night, bro. But when Kofi had hit the what's his name on down Bryan Danielson, bro. And I've never seen a WWE crowd like. Well, I mean, I've seen it, but like they wanted that title switch so bad, bro. And like once that happened, and then when they got the shot,
Kofi Mania was the peak.
But Nate, do you remember when they got the shot of Kofi, Woods, and E on sitting down after they lost, and they had the WrestleMania behind them? I was like, there it is. Mm-hmm. Let's go. Yeah. Let's do. And bro, the thing is, you know for a fact that was not Vince's plan, bro.
At all.
The plan. I forgot who said it. I think it was. I want to say, I don't want to get it wrong, but I know somebody. It was an executive that did an interview who was doing some producing stuff, bro. It was not supposed to be Kofi and Danielson, bro. It was supposed to be Kevin Owens versus Danielson. That was the championship match, and then Kofi just flipped all that on his head. Yeah. So going back to Ali, I don't ever think that was his route. I think that he was just in that spot, and then Kofi just took it to another level when it was his turn. But like with Ali, bro, like. I'm gonna be real with you. I think at this point, like especially now, like even like seeing some of the stuff that he tweeted about, like the joking about like wanting to be released and stuff like that. I'm talking about like most recently with the showman shit. But I will never advocate for somebody losing their job. But bro, I feel like him being in WWE, I feel like that's you being a dead horse. Like I feel like there's. I feel like it's just like it's done. Like there's nothing you can do to like rejuvenate this. Like people just don't care. They don't care. Like I think it would be best for him to be elsewhere. It's just a new, fresh environment, like an AEW, like you know what I'm saying. Like I feel like that's what he needs right now. But him being in WWE, I don't think it's going to do. Like I feel like they have a chance. Like even right now, somebody who we talking about who in the call. Like even somebody who's like. In it right now, I'm thinking about like a Cedric Alexander. Like he is fucking killing it on the main event show that they do. But like no, like I'm talking about.
I was saying I didn't even know Cedric was still doing work.
Bro, when I say he is having bangers on main event, like bro, they're like, but he's being used to like to get the NXT guys, like the JD McDonoughs and the Joe Gates, like they're bringing them in and getting him in them test runs against Cedric because Cedric's a great fucking wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's what he's been doing it for like 4 months now. But like, you see some of these, man, they even talked about it on After the Bell this week, like on the podcast, bro. Cedric is having bangers, dog, but like nobody watched that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so like but like I think you have a chance right now with Cedric to I think reform the Hurt Business, Shelton, MVP. Like I feel like MVP can sort of. I mean, I don't know. I think so. Shit, you gonna bring Omos to the jump.
Come on now, like, Chris.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bring him into Hurt Business, bro. But like, I know I just went off on a tangent because like that was like a good thing that Anthony had brought to my head. But like, that
was a good comment.
Yeah, but I leave. Yeah.
Real quick, Chris, because we do have one last game to play before we leave. Of course, our annual installment of Who All Gonna Be There, but we also got a guest swinging by the Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus, Holiday Kickback here at the post office. Ladies and gentlemen, he is one of the co-hosts of the main event, which you can find over at Place to Be Nation. He is the gentleman that was on the Kings of Sport Patreon, my co-host on a little show called TDT Talks. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up for our light-skinned cousin, Steve Willie in the building.
I was hoping.
What's up, Steve?
How's it going, guys? I was hoping Jermaine from Chicago is on hating on Roman Reigns, and if he's out there, I'm wearing this for you.
Steve Willie, real quick, we're about to play a game of Who All Gonna Be There, so you can join us for that, Steve. But real quick, we talked tonight about the biggest stories of the year and our impressions of wrestling in 2022. What are your thoughts as we bring this year to a close, brother?
Well, I logged on exactly when Chris was telling me that we can't trust old people. So I thought we were going to be talking about that.
No, I know. We can trust old people. Vince McMahon is just the exception. I think Vince McMahon is the reason why young people stereotype old people.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In terms of 2022, I think it's a year that, and especially thankfully being allowed on the show with you guys. I listen to it all the time, but where we saw more diversity in wrestling, and not just in sense of colors, gender, sexuality, but in terms of just everything. Mm-hmm. Having more choices, being able not just for the big two, but being able to have more freedom that if you don't like what's going on your television screen, it is so easy to find something else to watch in wrestling.
Yeah, I agree. I think that right now is just a good time to be a wrestling fan. Mm-hmm. There's so many different choices.
We got options.
I think some of this stuff some of the tropes that used to be real popular, it's good to see that they're starting to die down. But that was always my problem with Vince McMahon, is I thought that he did not know how to book foreign wrestlers. It's like he couldn't book Jinder Mahal without having him hate Americans. Mm-hmm. Same with like every Asian wrestler in his company that was a bad guy. The go-to thing was we hate mm-hmm. Americans. That's like that was so stupid and right wing and just dumb shit. And now we are starting to, like, even Mustafa Ali. I'm sure if it was up to Vince McMahon, he'd be a Muslim that hates Americans, just like what was the guy, Muhammad Hassan,
yes.
We are, the wrestling industry has evolved. The people that I used to see, like they are being drowned out. There's still some very bad wrestling personalities, as far as media personalities out there, but they are being drowned.
Hey, Chris, it's the holidays, man. Leave Tyrus alone, brother.
Look, man. I guess we do need to talk about him for a second.
Do we?
Unfortunately,
do we really need to?
Unfortunately, I think we gotta at least bring it up because we talk about the good stuff involving our people, and we gotta talk about.
Well, here's what we'll do, Chris. We'll bring him up.
Hold on, Tyrus Black.
Yeah, yes,
yes.
I did not know that, bro.
Yes,
I did not know that. I swear. I
mean, that's my New Year's resolution. Like, can the black delegation trade Tyrus for Johnny B. Bad? one for one. Can we do that?
Taz maybe.
Taz, yeah.
But
hey, bro.
So Tyrus, Chris, I want to talk about Tyrus, but in the context of who gonna be there. And so for people that haven't listened to the show, haven't watched the show, who gonna be there is where we have a holiday gathering here in the post office, and we're gonna go around the horn. And when I put out a particular name from a performer or a personality or an authority figure in wrestling, the group decides if they can come to the party. So, since you brought this man's name up, the first person walking to the door at our party is Tyrus. Andrew, what you think about this man Tyrus coming to the party?
He can eat outside. I'm talking about in the front lawn. He can't come in the back or in the house, but on the front he can sit there. He can get out the car, but he can't interact. He can't interact with the rest of the folks, man. But nah. Tyrus, because he can stay right in the front lawn, man, and go ahead and throw down over there. He ain't in though.
No, he ain't getting in the house. Chris, what you got to say about this man Tyrus? Can Tyrus come in and get a plate?
Well, I feel bad for what I'm about to say because Tyrus is.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on. I'm gonna put you on full screen so that me, Steve, and Andrew aren't associated with whatever you about to put down, brother.
No, I'm just Tyrus is from my neck of the woods, Pasadena, California. That's my adoptive hometown. Tyrus is one of those people that thinks he is a reasonable Republican because I've heard him talk, and whether it's Jericho or on that show on Fox News, The Five, he thinks.
Chris, what's that? It's called Gutfield, right? Or is that something?
Yeah, Greg Gutfield. Yeah.
Okay.
His show is called The Five.
Okay.
He thinks Tyrus thinks he's like some kind of like Tyrus is a toxic individual. And he is the world champion of N.W.A, which to me is a sad thing. You know, I don't like the way Billy Corgan has been doing business for the last couple of years. You know, Trevor Rhodes is a nice enough guy. From what I gather, I don't know him personally. I've met him, but you know, I don't know the guy. But he's the namesake of a former Klansman because Dick Murdoch, it's well documented that he was a card-carrying member of the Ku Klux Klan. He bought Dusty Rhodes to a Klan meeting without Dusty Rhodes knowing that's what he was going to be going into. So this is who
Anderson too.
Yeah, so this is the demographic that Billy Corgan is trying to appeal to. You got this guy Tyrus, who's just a horrible representation of Black people from a political standpoint. He was like wearing My Life Matters shirts, just really not educating back the blue, all that kind of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Just a smack in the face to, you know, people that look like us, even though he is one of us, you know? So Tyrus cannot be in my vicinity. I just I just can't get with that, and I will not be watching N.W.A wrestling as long as they continue to appeal to this underbelly of wrestling that I thought we had moved on past. You know, they still want, like, Billy Corgan wants to go back to, you know, the days where Ole Anderson hated everybody, and
he was racist as shit, bro. Like, he was racist.
Yeah,
racist, bro. Like,
it's a shame because I thought NW.
The sad thing is, you ain't even got to go that far back, Chris.
Yeah,
you just got to look at control your narrative, man.
Yeah, control your narrative. Yep. Yeah, I can't. So yeah, Tyrus is
Tyrus not get. Chris ain't even letting this man on the property. Right. Steve Willie at the Christmas party in the stately Willie Manor.
Oh God,
is Tyrus getting the plate at the Steve Willie holiday party?
Well, first of all, the stately Willie Manor is covered in toys because there was an entire youth sports team here before. It was not a pretty sight. Tyrus will have to sit with my daughter, I think. Meaning my daughter will meet her at the end of the street. And if you could survive 15 minutes with, I will tell her who Tyrus is. And if he could spend 15 minutes with my daughter giving him the stink eye, he can come in and have some scraps.
Just the end, what's left over.
Yeah.
Because there ain't no way he's getting past that.
I say E. Fallon in the chat says stay in the car, drive past my house.
Yeah.
He said, I don't want you around my family.
Yeah, there's some LGBTQ representation here, Tyrus. I think you're not going to want to be in here.
So here's the thing, Andrew. I think you might be alone on this one, brother, because not only is Tyrus not coming in the crib. I know earlier we said Cody Devontae Rhodes had to wait in the car. If Cody pull up and Tyrus pull up at the same time,
Cody
and I have to make a choice, Cody can come in the house. Tyrus got to stay in the parking lot.
And I will say this about Cody. Cody will make a mistake, but he doesn't try to wallow in his wrongness. Like when he cut that awful promo on Impact,
when he ended racism,
he wasn't trying to hold on to it and argue with everybody, saying, "Oh, this was the greatest promo ever." He sat back, he reflected on it, and he was like, "Yeah, I understand why people might have a problem with that promo." Mm-hmm. That's all we ask of people to do when they're wrong about stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do this whole apology tour mea culpa shit. Just acknowledge that that wasn't the best judgment. So Cody, so I mess with Cody all day long because I've seen him do that more than a few times. I saw Randy Orton do that. You know, it's like if you can admit.
We already know Sister Maria letting Randy Orton in the party.
Yeah, Maria.
I forgot all about that. How Maria doing, man? I forgot.
Shout out to Maria, man. We got to catch up with Maria this year. Coming up
Sister
in the new year.
Sister with Sabers. Shout out.
Yep. Yeah. Sisters with Sabers, a great Star Wars podcast. So that's how we feel about Tyrus. Next name on the list, we can go around the horn on this. Andrew, is Triple H invited to the holiday party, brother? Can he get a plate?
He
those eyes, Andrew Thompson's eyes are boom.
Oh man.
The plate was as big as your eyes at that moment.
He gotta stay in the car, bro. He can't get out the car. He gotta stay in the car, bro. Like I don't know. The jury's still out on Triple H. I mean, he seems like he alright dude, but I don't know. Triple H gotta just stay in the car, but don't get out the car.
Yeah.
So somebody bring your stuff. They'll probably drop it on the front door. You probably come get it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get back in the whip.
Yeah, we got so again, Steve. The way we playing this, like, if you really cool, you in the house. Mm-hmm. You know, if you kind of cool, you know, you out on the front lawn. You know, if
we let Steve in.
I mean, Steve can come in. Steve can come in. I've vetted Steve. I light-skinned cousin Steve Willie.
I vetted Steve.
You know what I'm saying? He can sit at the light-skinned cousin table with our brother Brandon Thurston. And then John Pollock will be there with a little bit of the foiling.
And John.
But yeah, so we got in the house, we got on the lawn, we got people that can come up and pull up and get a plate, and then you can't get anything at all. Andrew, for Triple H, I think I'm going to agree.
Yeah.
But it all depends. It's a conditional plate in the driveway, depending on how he books Omos in 2023.
Hey, did you see that video of when him and Stephanie was doing the carpool karaoke? And Stephanie was she oh my God, bro. What is that song? The jump was like, I cannot think of like the song title, but the little, if you want it.
Bust the Move.
Bust the Move. Yeah,
he was not feeling.
No, that's song. Groove. Is that Bust the Move or Groove is in the Heart? Is it Bust the Move?
No, you got it. That's Young MC, Bust the Move.
Yeah. Young MC, okay.
Bro, he was not feeling that song. Stephanie was though. She was
feeling it. Yeah.
She was feeling it.
She was listening to like Bell Big DeVoe back in the day, you know.
but like Triple H, he wanted some fucking Motorhead and Poppy.
Right. Some Ozzy Osbourne.
So he could go. The cookout. He could listen to that shit in his car.
In the car.
Yeah. There you go.
Steve Willie. Can Paul Levesque get a plate at the Steve Willie party?
Well, it's 2022. It's a wrap-up show. So judging Triple H in 2022, he's going to probably pull up in a 12-person van, one of those big white vans. And first he's going to let out like some old cousin. And he's going to be, it's your old cousin. Remember, you haven't seen him in a couple of years. Here you go. And we're like, well, okay, that's kind of cool. Thanks, Triple H. And then he's like, "Can I come in now?" No. Okay, well, how about this person? Here's your uncle. Here's your crazy uncle, and he's just gonna keep every few minutes bringing back someone else new, until you eventually just get tired and forget that he exists, and just move on and ignore him.
Wow, Chris, I think Steve Willie brought some truth to the table, right next to the yams and the stuffing. Because if we invite Triple H to the party, eventually he gonna bring Karrion Kross to the party. I don't know if I want Karrion Kross at the party, Chris.
Yeah, nah, Triple H can't be at my party either, or cookout or anything. I do think that Triple H is where he needs to be. I do think he's gonna grow into this position.
Yeah.
I like him being in charge more than I like McMahon being in charge.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
But Triple H still has too many Vince-isms that he doesn't want to let go of, that make me kind of apprehensive about putting my 100% faith in him. He's kind of like the ex that you got back together with, that made the changes necessary for you to kind of get back with them, but you still see signs of what broke you up in the first place. And I think that's kind of what Triple H is. I just like the Austin Theory stuff, the fact that he's still like holding on tight to this shit is really off-putting for me. The fact that it's the Raw is not a consistently good show.
Bro, the show too long, bro.
Yeah,
it's too long.
Yes.
Yeah. SmackDown is consistently more watchable. But yeah, Raw is just not there, and there's just too many people on Raw I do not care about. And I just don't have complete faith in Triple H. Holler at me in a year,
He bringing the whole cavalry back. Like we about to see. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Chelsea Green back in there. I think PW Insider just reported that Eric Young coming back. Bro, when I saw that, I'm pretty sure everybody probably thought the same thing. Bro, Sanity is getting back together, bro. He's about to bring back Damo. He's about to bring back Axel Teicher. Nikki Cross already did. Sanity is 100% getting back together. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be an abundance of other people that he's probably about to break. Like, dude, for real, bro. If I'm Impact, bro, like I gotta start locking these folks down, bro. Because like you're looking at that roster, like I could at least name at least 9 people on that roster, bro, who I think would make that jump if the right opportunity presented itself. Like, they need to bunker down, bro, with they talent and make sure like this, like that is where they want to be. Because if they don't, they about to be.
Yeah, and I don't think any wrestler that's even a little good is gonna want to sign long term with Impact, with WWE. in AEW throwing out big money. You know, I mean, they're gonna sign for their year or two and be like, okay, Tony Khan, what you got? Nick Khan, what you got? It just is what it is. It's not fair, but you know, Impact has had a lot of years to show that they were there. They want to play ball. And
you do have your select few of talents who have had opportunities to go elsewhere, but they turned it down. Like Trey McGill, he had the opportunity to go with them.
Family, family stuff,
family. Like, but he, you know, he wanted to stay with Impact, you know. Over
but for family stuff though, that's got to be brought up.
When he did that interview, it was primarily family stuff, but it also seemed like the way he was phrasing it was like he just felt like that wasn't the right move for him at the time. And it may be
it's
just
quality of life.
It's
but like you had like I know we had some controversial talks about this brother, but Moose, he had the opportunity to go, and he stayed and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I don't like if I'm Impact, man, I gotta start bunkering down in these times because I'm looking at people like Jordan Grace and Marsha Slamovich and people like that.
Well, also, I mean, to that point though, Andrew, like Impact is there for a reason. Like I think that like there's people at all stages of their career there, and for somebody like I think somebody like Jordan Grace, if Jordan Grace decided to go, I think she's more than done right by Impact. You know what I mean? Like she's put her time in. If she wants to go to WWE or AEW, I think she's earned that right as a performer. Like she didn't do him dirty like some other people have in the past. I think she's earned that right.
You want to know who I think gonna have to make a choice like in a year or so? I think Deonna Purrazzo, bro. Like she went. Like especially when I seen her. When was that when she faced Mercedes Martinez for the ROH Women's title? Was that over the summer? I believe that was.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was because she couldn't make the pay-per-view because of Mania weekend, I think. And then like a few weeks later,
that was
Dynamite.
Yeah, but like when I seen her on Dynamite, I was like, ooh, she looks like she belongs. She looks like that's what she need to be. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how she feel about WWE, but like I mean, you got Chelsea Green going back in her first run there with some shit. So I mean, like people might want to give it a second go around, bro. But like like I think what Chris said, like when you got people throwing this big money around, bro, like at some point you could be as loyal as you want to, but at some point money talks, bro. At some point is going to talk eventually. Like you can be the most loyal person in the world, team, whatever. Like this is my place, but like eventually, when some of them big guns start throwing this and throwing that and throwing all this type of stuff, you can be like,
and the wrestling industry is kind of like the kid that's they got a toy and nobody wants to play with it, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay. I want to sign Nick Aldis, and then Tony Khan is like, wait, I want to sign Nick Aldis too, and then it turns into a bidding thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the nature of the wrestling industry, and I think that's a good thing for the wrestlers that they are now in a position to where they can kind of write their own ticket and be like,
options.
Because that is what life is about, and wrestlers for the longest time, their options were make money in the United States of America or move all the way to Japan away from my family and make money there, or
about
move
20 years. About 20 years.
And that's just not fair at all. At least with AEW, it gives them a more level. And Impact pays the wrestlers that they want to pay.
Impact's got a role in the ecosystem.
Like the wrestlers that they want to, like Kurt Angle was making very good money his whole time in Impact.
Sting was getting that bag.
Yeah, Sting was getting paid good, but there is a point where like I think Impact has had decades to kind of get their minds right, and for whatever reason, whether it was Bob Carter with his with Panda Energy, they did not want to invest what needed to be invested.
Listen, bro.
Yeah,
let's blame Terry. That's the easy out.
Speaking of Terry, so we've got one easy guest and then two difficult guests. So the next person showing up at the door. What you gonna do, brother, when Terry Bollea shows up for some Hanukkah fun? Andrew Thompson.
Man, we pulling him out the car and beating his ass on the front lawn. That's what he get whooped and getting thrown back in the car. Matter of fact, throw some food at his whip or something like that. You take that home, bro. Terry ain't getting no whip. You go ahead and go to the next person. Everybody know what it is.
Hey, Chris Healy, what you got for Terry?
Yeah, I when he first did his nonsense, he was the guy that I wanted to forgive and stuff, but he just keeps showing that he's not worthy of forgiveness. So I don't no.
Obviously, you know how I feel about that man, Terry Bollea. No love in this household for Terry. F Terry forever. Steve Willie. This is a real important question, Steve Willie.
Watch yourself, Steve.
Brought you to the party, Steve. Terry Bollea, what you got, Steve Willie?
Your vetting means something. I don't want to sully your name, Nate. I mean, yeah, Nate, we've been talking about him for years at this point, right? I was actually really saddened to see him out this week. I think he was pimping out some wrestling figures and stuff, and one of the wrestling figure companies was doing all this stuff with him at his restaurant. I think he still has a restaurant in Tampa. It's man, I thought we were done with him. I thought we were done with him with the awkward WrestleMania with him and Titus and Bailey.
But that was so bad.
Oh God, it just I felt so bad for Titus and Bailey too. Both of them, they're just sitting there yep, we got to do this. We got to pretend we're super excited. But yeah, I haven't wanted him near my wrestling since 2010, before all this stuff happened, and he killed off Impact.
Yeah.
Never when the Nasty Boys showed up on Impact, you got him and you got Nigel there, and you got all these. Oh God, yeah. I haven't wanted anything to do with him for over a decade.
And the thing is, I don't think. Yeah, and I don't think Terry cares about getting redemption. I don't think he cares. He cares about what we think about him. So let him wallow in it.
And Steve can speak to this too. If for someone to want redemption, there has to be some feeling of remorse.
You can't.
I don't feel like Terry has that.
Wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a Blanchard.
Yeah,
that's a Blanchard. Yes, that's another one that won't be invited to the party.
She did. Do you remember when we did that podcast, Hard to Kill?
That Hard to Kill? Yeah, man.
Bro, Nate, that was one day after all that stuff happened.
That was supposed to be her night.
But you want to know what's crazy? Because I know me and you did a podcast before that stuff happened. We was oh yeah, man, Tessa Blanchard, put the, what I'm saying,
it was a good story.
It was a good story. And then all that stuff happened, bro, and she doubled down on it, and she
that was a big thing.
But I remember a couple months later, I think it was a couple months later when Impact had terminated her contract, but she was doubling down on it. She was I never said this and that, and I was come on, dog, come on, bro, and to this day, I don't think that she
got kicked out of WoW, didn't she?
But she did. She is at that point in her career where it is I can't even see a company being. I'm talking about WWE. I think the Impact relationship is I think the relationship is just too damaged for them to even bring her back.
Yeah.
And with AEW,
the crazy thing is she's not some old dude like Terry. She's young enough where if she
27, 28.
Yeah, she's got her whole career and life ahead of her, and she threw it all away
on her own doing. But you, Nate, you want to know what's crazy though, and Steve and Chris. I even wonder if any of that stuff would have came out that she didn't never sent out that tweet.
Right.
If she was
that look at me tweet.
If she would have just said nothing, I genuinely wonder if any of that stuff. I don't think it would. I think
no.
I don't think none of that stuff would have came out. But she so it's so crazy, bro. She sent out that tweet and it just
Yep.
It was
man,
I'm telling you,
it's James Franco, where he showed up at the Academy Awards having that Time's Up pin, and he would have probably gotten away with all the foolishness that he got away with, but then where he was wearing that Time's Up pin on the red carpet, it was like all these
Chris,
women.
what was that about? I ain't hear about that. The times
So
students, right? Like he
was a college professor, and he used his position to
use his
sleep with students and stuff like that. And it was kind of like
there were some very disturbing we don't need to get into them, things that went along with that.
Yeah, but then like he, knowing that he had done all this stuff, he goes on the red carpet, and when all the Me Too stuff was going on, he's wearing a Time's Up pin, and the women who felt that he took advantage of them sexually were like, not so fast, my dude, you know? And it was just a tsunami. And that's kind of what the same thing that happened with Tessa Blanchard, you know? It was just one of those things. And Tessa Blanchard just hasn't shown any, and it's not even like I don't know exactly what I expected out of Tessa Blanchard, but it was just such a flippant attitude. Like
she ain't care, bro.
Yeah, like she just didn't care that these things were going. Because even if I feel I didn't do anything wrong, I'm not gonna disregard everybody that's saying the same kind of stuff about me.
Well, even if you want to be cynical about it, even if you don't believe it, just say it so you don't mess up the bag.
Yeah, it was just such a crazy position to watch this woman be in, but this is how like racism and things like this work is people would rather attach themselves to the most toxic ideologies than just and have the few racist people that will cape for them instead of just admitting that you were wrong. We're seeing an example of this with Kanye West, right? It's like instead of just saying I was wrong to say this about Jewish people, he's got to cater to like the few people that will follow him to the ends of the earth.
And even they like, you got a little too much dip on your chip.
Yeah, because he cares about the people that idolize him more than the people who are turning against him.
Well, Kanye's another person that's not coming to the party. But we got two guests left because we are running a little bit short on time here tonight. We appreciate everybody watching. Keep it up with the comments. Last call on super chats and all that good stuff. We appreciate everybody. But two names, and these are going to be some tough ones, I feel. So I'm going to bring the name to Steve Willie first. Because Steve Willie, do you know the Muffin Man?
I don't know where you're going with this.
Yes, I'm talking about that Muffin Man. Chris knows exactly where I'm going.
Oh, yeah, because I got
this man is coming to your holiday party, and he's going to bring all the pastries. Just keep them away from the kids.
I know what you're saying now.
CM Punk, Phil Brooks, Steve Willie. You in Chicago. Can Phil Brooks come to your holiday party?
Oh, man. Why'd you got to do this? I used to love CM Punk. I have a respect for CM Punk. I respect that he has strong values. I respect that he feels comfortable speaking his mind, and I've agreed with a lot of the things he's said over the years, and I've rooted for him quite a bit, especially after the post WWE stuff. But I would need to take it aside first. The bakery stuff doesn't get to me. I respected the bakery stuff, and he's really good at plugging his friends, except if you do him wrong. That guy had like a 12-pack of seltzer water. Why is no one talking about that? That's a lot of seltzer water.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he shared it with Tony, like the Spindrift, and is like, hey, let him have his muffins. He just wrestled, but oh man.
Yeah.
And I like his wife a lot. Nate and Chris, I work as a counselor and a therapist.
Right.
And her book is amazing. Telling her story of her bipolar disorder, and I'm like back then too. I'm like, man, Phil Brooks has got to be a pretty cool guy that these two got together. But the last cut, when he threw Colt's grandmother under the bus or mother under the bus.
Mother, yeah.
That
was just
foul,
like, come
bro.
on. And
that was foul.
At first, like, I was at that event. I went there live, and my buddy and I went back to the hotel to watch that press conference. And we're just watching this, and I'm thinking, am I like sick? Am I having a fever dream? Did I fall asleep? Because you're tired from the show. You guys just went to and you just went to the show, and you get lots of energy, and I'm like, this doesn't seem real. And like it just blows my mind that he was like. Is he going to get along with everybody in a locker room? No, of course not. But he also has a lot of people who really care about him and love him. And it just like come back, and I know he was riled up. The adrenaline is going, but just to like throw all of his major coworkers under the bus like that, it was. I lost a lot of respect for him in that moment, just like I would anybody who would do that, like just in front of strangers. And like he's going to show up at the party and he's just going to start, yelling about your grandma right in front of her. Like, we don't need that. We don't need that. So unfortunately, no.
Wow. That's if you know Steve Willie, like I know Steve Willie, that took a lot for him to disinvite CM Punk from the holiday party.
Bought his shirt when he came back.
Andrew, what about you, brother? You so far tonight, Andrew, you let Tyrus get a plate in the parking lot.
I retract that. By the way, 100% retract that.
Upon further review, Tyrus, no plate for Tyrus.
Yeah, that was me.
Sitting with my daughter is way worse than not getting a plate.
I was trying to be nice because y'all told me he was a brother, and I did not know that at all. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like I genuinely did not know that.
Hey, all skin folk ain't kin folk, nephew.
I thought he was just, spend some time in the sun. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know he was a brother, but hey, but it is what it is. But like,
what about CM Punk?
Man, Punk can slide through, man. He can slide through. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did do some like I'm talking about. He did do some stupid shit at that press conference. Like that was just like I mean. It, like we've dissected that like on this podcast. I'm sure we've all dissected it on different podcasts that we've been on. Like he was completely 100% like in the wrong for that. Like there's like no other way to honestly shake it. And like I do think that there's going to come a point where like I know like the latest update I saw. I think it was from the Observer that Punk he's like willing to ready to be done with the whole situation. I'm talking about in terms of him in AEW. Like I don't know how like accurate that is, but like if that is accurate, then that may be the best course of action opposed to like, trying to wait and see like if this thing will like smooth over, especially, you got the elite, doing what they doing on TV and stuff like that. And, doing all the little references to CM Punk and stuff like that. But I mean, like as far as like Punk coming to like, Punk can slide through, bro. He just can't be spazzing out and doing all that wild shit. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that, bro. Like just come in there, sit down, chill out.
Right, be cordial, be social.
Be cool, bro. Be cool.
Drink your Spindrift.
Drink your Spindrift, eat your muffins, bro.
So Chad Rivera in the comments said Punk can't come to the party because they're going to be drinking at his function and he doesn't need CM Punk looking down on everybody.
Right, yeah.
Chris, you had a lot of thoughts to say about the Muffin Man. We did our show after the post conference. What do you think about this, man?
Oh, CM Punk could come to the cookout without any kind of without any kind of like parameters or anything. But here's the thing with CM Punk. Because because we've been over this ad nauseum about how fucked up it was what he did at that press conference. It was wrong, and he should apologize for that.
That's my problem. Yeah, that's my problem.
But he works in an industry full of shady fucking people that operate in shady ways. That aren't authentic. That will say, "Oh, let's just everybody forget about that press conference," and then mock him on television. Like it's the thing to do, And then you've got people like I didn't like the poor shaming either. I'm never going to be a fan of that. I don't care if it's Braun Strowman or CM Punk.
The target comment.
You don't make fun of people who are working and doing honest work. That you don't do that shit. You don't because you're mad at those guys. Don't disregard how hard it is to be a Target GM. right?
Which none of those guys could do, by the way.
Right. Exactly. You would be able to do that shit.
CM Punk trying to hack into the feed.
CM Punk's mad at me, I guess.
Somebody's got some feedback over there.
Is that me?
There it is. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I think the problem with CM Punk is CM Punk is too honest and authentic to a T, and that doesn't ring true for a lot of people in that business. You know, CM Punk said what he felt, whether we like it or not, and whether we like the way he did it or not. He was expressing authentic thoughts. Those people knocked on his door when he was in a mood like that. That is just something that I'm never gonna ever understand. Like you're trying to talk reason to this guy after this dude's like scarfed down a bunch of muffins and whatever the fuck he was eating, all those breakfast pastries and seltzer water and stuff. There was no reasoning with him in that state of mind. And I think that as a GM or what are they titled? EVPs? Yeah, I think as an EVP, that is something that you have to know. That is something that you have to be aware of. You know, I work in the same kind of situation where I have to kind of know personalities and know when to approach people with topics that they don't want to talk about and when they do want to talk about those topics, you know. And I think I didn't like Jericho letting it leak to the media, because this is what I believe he did, that he told CM Punk that he was a cancer to the locker room. What are you trying to accomplish by saying shit like that to this dude? You know what I'm saying? To me, it was just, and this isn't to say that EVPs are more wrong than Punk, because I think everybody is equally wrong. The EVPs could come to my cookout. You know what I'm saying? Like I want them all to be able to get along.
Well, see, that's where you got to finesse the situation, Chris.
Right?
Because Steve Willie, you got to think outside the box sometimes. So let's say the main function is kicking off around 9:00. I'm gonna call Phil up. Hey, Phil, man, come on by around 6:45, 7, man. We can have some seltzer water and enjoy the festivities, and bring AJ, and we'll have a wonderful time. And then, it's getting kind of late, isn't it, Punk? Around 7:30, 8 o'clock. Like, yeah, hey, man, it was great seeing you, Phil, man. Y'all have a great New Year's, and then bring in the EVPs. I think Phil can come to the party. He's just got to be in his own CM Punk space. I can't have Punk intermingling with certain people at the function, because then it's gonna be, it's gonna turn into one of those arguments at Thanksgiving where you just don't want to be around that Steve Willie.
Right. But this is the thing. If he goes to one of my cookouts, the brothers and sisters at that, if he came in there with all that static and stuff, they'd be like, yo, they'll give him some boxing gloves and be like, yo, go to the backyard and handle this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. But I still think that this shit with Punk and the EVPs is still one of the most immature things I've ever seen in wrestling, from everybody involved, from Hangman Page to CM Punk to Tony Khan not handling it in the first place after CM Punk did that shit in the ring. It was obvious that something was brewing, and Tony Khan, with his toxic positivity, decided he didn't want to do anything about it. So it's like, it's really, really hard for me, because I'm not thinking like a wrestling fan where everyone's like, yeah, Punk sucks, and I don't give a fuck about that shit.
Chris,
yeah.
You need to really think about this next situation though.
Yeah.
Because the last person, Andrew, and I saved this person for last because this might be the last edition of the N.W.A. podcast, based on some of the answers we may get.
Jeez.
The last person to get an invitation to this holiday party is a member of the NXT roster. Some would say she's a member of the 1-6 Mafia. Some people have even called her MAGA the Stallion.
Oh, hell no. I know who you talking
Nikita
about.
Lyons. Can Nikita Lyons come through and get a plate at the holiday party? Young fella Andrew Thompson. What say you, brother?
Nah, she can't come in. I am not blind, brother. And you know what I mean when I say that. I am not blind. I can see very clearly. I will not be distracted. No.
Don't fall for it.
Plain no. That's it. That's all I got to say.
No from Andrew Thompson.
It's a no. Chris
Ely.
Yeah, she was hanging out with that one black MAGA dude. I can't think of his name. I know if you ask me 5 days a week, I know his name, but
I can picture who you're talking about.
Yeah, but
wait, he a wrestler, Chris?
No, he's not a wrestler. He's this right wing blowhard.
He's like Candace Owens.
Yeah. He's in that similar vein.
What's her real name? Is her real name Nikita? That's not her real name, is it?
No, I don't think so.
Let me check that. We're gonna fact check her real quick.
Yeah, we gotta verify. We gotta vet.
Yeah, but I think
her real name, Faith, is her real name.
Faith?
Yeah, Faith. Yeah. That's her real name.
Oh wow.
Like if
definitely not displaying the traits of Imani in this Kwanzaa season. Brought it all back, Chris.
Yeah, like I think if Randy Orton can like have a change of heart at like 38 years old, whenever he had his change of heart,
okay.
I think that Nikita Lyons has that potential as well. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but I mean, I do think that she, maybe she didn't understand, because I think a lot of people
she get it, bro. Cause she like black culture, bro. So she get it. She ain't stupid.
Well, I mean, it's not about being stupid though. It's cultural blinders. Rarely have anything to do with IQ, right?
I'm not talking about like actual stupid. I mean, like in the sense of like you are completely aware of your actions. You're not foolish,
right. Maybe she does. I don't know her well enough to make that assertion, but what I will say is I would just need to see how she moves. How old is she again?
She
like yeah, so I mean I would need to see how she moves.
She's 23.
Yeah, I think 23 is still young enough to where you can become a better like I said, Randy Orton at 38 years old, you know what I'm saying?
Why you saying Randy? Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you forgot. We forgot about that.
I forgot about that. Oh yeah, he did say that word on Twitch.
Yeah, he said the N-word, and he was also talking shit about Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. And look, man, my whole thing is I do believe people could be redeemed. I wholeheartedly believe that. And if someone like Randy Orton can say, look, I was wrong, I don't see any reason why but I just don't know like what else she's into. That like I know that incident happened. I don't know if more stuff has happened since then or not. I hope for her sake that she because racism and that kind of shit is a disease, you know, and sometimes you could cure it at an early stage, and sometimes you end up like Kanye West and it never goes away, and it just gets dumber and dumber with the more words you say. I stopped fucking with Kanye West when he said slavery was a choice, you know. But some people needed this moment to kind of wake it up to that. Slavery was a choice. It sounds like a choice to me, was more than enough to let you know that Kanye West is a brother that I cannot fuck with. more than enough.
But he made graduation, Chris. He made
you could do you could
broke by broke. We ain't got it.
You could cure blindness and all the world's diseases, and you say some shit like that.
Ben Carson was a noted heart surgeon.
Yeah.
Didn't mean he had any business running housing and urban development.
He had no business running HUD. But
Steve Willie. I know you're a big fan of Chris's favorite program, NXT 2.0. Can Nikita Lyons come to your holiday party and get a plate, sir?
He muted.
Well, just say no. Just say
Steve
no.
Willie mute himself to protect
Just say no for him, bro. Just say no.
Yeah, just say no, so you don't have to worry about the blowback. Just say no.
Green light that it was on mute. I was gonna say I don't even know who she is. I don't even watch NXT 2.0, but I looked up as we were talking, and I put in Nikita Lyons and I put in P for maybe problem, and the first thing that came up was problematic. So, so I was like, wow. So the rapper that she was quoting, I think his name was Topher. It said apparently the song that she was quoting was written on January 6th. So that's problematic in itself. There's a lot of pictures of her shooting and stuff and whatever. Chris, you said something like, and it reminded me of when we were talking about Tessa Blanchard a few minutes ago, that she's 23. And in terms of learning from that age, I mean, Chris, you're one who's, works with college students. Like, you feel like that's a mind that can be developed when she's might be around other people, learning different personalities. A lot of people at that age, they've only been around people like them their whole life. And so my hope is that she learns as she gets older and is not, doesn't pull something like Tessa Blanchard in and just double down for years and years and years. Obviously she's not going to be coming to I'm going to have a nice small get together is what I'm seeing. Y'all are invited. You all can come. But, more food for us.
Appreciate it, Steve. And for me, here's the thing. And I get Chris's point, and I tend to agree with him most of the time in terms of people can learn. We do need to give people space to grow. But just because I'm giving you space to grow doesn't mean I'm giving you space to come and fellowship and kick it with the fam. And so Nikita Lyons, much like Andrew said, man, I'm a man with eyes. I can see, but I can also see the truth. And so Nikita Lyons not coming to the party. Somebody like Braun Strowman not coming to the party. Raquel Gonzalez not coming to the party. Y'all maybe next year.
What did Raquel Gonzalez do?
She down with the 1-6 Mafia too, man. All of them.
Okay.
All of them.
Wow.
What's that reference, bro? Because I keep
January 6th.
January 6th.
Yeah, man. Yeah, brother.
That kind of shit right there, is I won't tolerate that stuff. If you come at me, I need to know, because the only reason why I would let Chris Jericho around is because I really have to know why Jessica was at the fucking January 6th rally. I need to know this,
you need to know. She was there. That's all you need to know.
I need to know what his because to me the MAGA apple doesn't fall far from the tree. If your wife is there,
Jericho was doing the All Lives Matter stuff in 2020. That's all you need to know about.
But this is stuff that I need you to come out and say. If you're gonna do this shit, you need to at least just come out and let's put it all on the table. Tell me that you are a MAGA. Don't try to beat around the bush with it. Don't interview doofus Trump Jr. And then act like, oh, I'm a journalist. I'm just doing my job. I majored in journalism.
I'm in the middle.
Right. Yeah. Don't do that shit. Like, and then Andrew Yang, he's not Andrew Yang isn't the same kind of problem that Donald Trump Jr. is, but Andrew Yang is a problem, And I think I do need to know what's going on in AEW in these places where these people, these MAGAs are like that. The one defense that I kind of give Jericho, and this isn't really a defense because I still need to know, is he's smart enough not to like
outright
he interviews a diverse array of people on his podcast, and he acts like he's sensitive to the needs of different, like Nia Jax. He talked to her like a regular person, and then we had like all the black wrestlers he's had on the podcast and stuff like that. But then again, he's beefing with MVP because he wants to hold on to some stupid belief. I think that if you're Jericho, you should want to have this conversation. I really do. Unless you were just too racist to have it.
So that's another yearly installment
3 hours
of the Who All Gonna Be There game. We had some friends come through the party. We had some people that had to wait on the curb. We had some people that are obviously not invited to the party for life. Terry Bollea for life. But before we get out of here this week, I did, tease at the top. We got an announcement, and Chris and Andrew didn't know about this, Steve, before we got on the mics tonight. But this is the final edition of the podcast for 2022, our year in review show. And, the end of the year is a good time to kind of reassess things and reevaluate things. And, I can honestly say that this show has been amazing, doing this with Chris and Andrew here on Post. We were doing it before on the Patreon, and then John and Wade, offered up the stage, offered up the platform to do this on Post. So this has been a great journey. And tonight is the final night on the N.W.A. podcast for a crucial member of the team. And again, Andrew, Chris, sorry to break the news to you live here on air. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is with a heavy heart that I announced that tonight Andrew, tonight is the final night that the Cody Devontae Rhodes drop will be a part of the program.
Oh, hey. Man, you cannot be playing. Man, hold on. I was about to call an intervention. I'd be like, all right, look, Steve, enjoy having you. We got to have an intervention right now. We got to talk to Nate before we make this final decision. I was about to say, man, you tripping, bro. You tripping. I'm
like Mark Henry. I still got a lot left in the tank, nephew.
That was one of the. I was like, bro, it ain't no way. It's no way.
I had no idea where that was going. I was like, am I gonna have to cry on camera here?
I was like, no, because you would have told us ahead of time. Hey, ain't no way you would have just carried it like that. It's no way you would have carried it like that. But
no, I wouldn't have did y'all like that. But yes,
I just talked to you like 2 nights ago. Like, what's going on?
Yep. But so because of YouTube and copyright stuff, we can't do the drop no more. But we had to send Cody off the right way, nephew.
Hold on, wait, ain't that your song though?
It's my song, but it's Kendrick's beat, and apparently K. Kung Fu Kenny, Man ain't with it.
They don't be playing that, bro. That they be on that. With the whole team he got, they striking you down immediately. But you want to know what though? I'm gonna make a prediction since we can't have a Cody thing no more. I'm gonna go ahead and make a prediction. If The Rock is not gonna be at WrestleMania, Cody is beating Roman Reigns for them titles at WrestleMania. That is like the most clear cut option that I'm like looking at. I'm gonna be real. Look, I know I'm probably people saying Sami Zayn. Look, I like Sami Zayn just as much as the next person. Like I really do. But like that is a thing that is good for right now. It's great for right now. It really is. But like, I don't know. But I don't know. If this is the. I mean, it can be the story depending on how it goes. But like, I don't know. I think just right now. I think if I had to choose 3 people, I'm gonna throw Sammy in there. I'm gonna throw Jey Uso in there because of the story.
Yeah,
and then I think I'm gonna say Cody because I like because I think that they've been like I feel like eventually we were going to see Cody versus Roman, and I think that by Cody getting hurt, it just delayed it. I think at some point we was going to get this, but I think that by him being hurt and then him being able to bypass all the Vince, him stepping down and him resigning and all that, he got to bypass all of that. So now this dude just had like the best 2-month stretch that you could want, and then now he's probably going to get to come back at the Rumble. And then you know what I'm saying?
That pop at the Rumble gonna be crazy.
And I feel like once we hear the reaction that he gets whenever he does come back, I feel like there would be like a fair assessment of like where he is positioning wise in terms of like, do you throw him back in there with Seth Rollins, or is it time to go all the way with Cody? Because I mean, bro, like I doubt that they brought this dude back just for like some rinky dink ass like, oh yeah, we just gonna have some good moments. Like I just can't see them bringing this dude back for no other reason other than him getting this big moment. You know what I'm saying? Because he like when have you ever seen somebody a wrestler under Vince McMahon's WWE, or the last time when you seen somebody out the get-go have their intentions lined out off the break? The next night after, or the 2 nights after he debuted, he said what his point was: I'm coming back to get the world title. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, I just think that's the way to go. But if you not, then I'm not gonna be mad at Sammy or Jey Uso. You know what I'm saying? Those are 2 good options too.
I don't think that's in the cards for Cody. Only reason why is because I think Triple H and the people in charge kind of know there's a very good chance that he will go back to AEW. And the last thing you want is this guy going back to AEW in a year or two with that kind of bragging right on him. That's why I don't necessarily think that.
I see that, but at the same time, Chris, like that's a year or two. We talking about the bag now, right?
Yeah.
And I think Cody is going with Cody for this push to Mania. To me, if you can't get The Rock, like that's maximizing the bag of the available talent.
I think they're getting The Rock. I think The Rock is coming back in January and winning the Royal Rumble and fighting Roman Reigns. I do think that's happening. And I'm not 100% sure that The Rock won't beat Roman Reigns, to be honest with you. But I do think that is the match for WrestleMania this year. Rock has nothing on his schedule this spring.
We've also got 2 nights of WrestleMania, so who knows?
Yeah. So I'm just.
You wanna know what? I saw people like throwing out the idea of like Cody versus Roman for the titles on night 1, and then Rock versus Roman being billed off the get-go is a non-title. So like if he like, I mean that's kind of like I just like jumping like too many hoops and you like overcomplicating the situation. Like it's like I feel like with this, especially with Roman, bro, you need to make a decision. Like it's either one or the other. Like it's either Rock or Cody, bro. Like you need to make a choice. And I feel like it is primarily like I feel like they're waiting on The Rock. Like they need to know. Like
I do think they. If I'm wrong, I will get back on this podcast and admit it. The Rock is fighting Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I am putting it out. I am emphatically saying that is going to happen.
Let's put it out there. Let's put it out there.
You making me want to go to the Rumble now. Like I want to see it.
All right. So Chris is saying The Rock versus Roman at Mania. Steve Willie, you ain't gonna be here probably. I mean, you got an open invitation, but you probably ain't gonna be here when we do that.
What you think, Steve?
Mania show? Who you got facing Roman and Mania.
Nate, we've talked about this before. I feel this has been the match that they've been talking about for 5 years now, and I'm not, just like I wasn't going to bet against Michigan today. I'm not. Exactly. Until they prove it. And again, I same thing, Chris. I will be the first one to admit I just don't think it's going to happen. And the reason I think it's not going to happen is if I'm The Rock, why would I do it? Like, what's in it for me? I'm making $100 million a year. I got the XFL going on that I'm just
man. That XFL draft, boy, that was hot.
Hey, doesn't that launch in spring 2023?
It launches at the end of February, I believe.
Yep. Lit for end of February.
Yeah. So it's going to be going on. He's going to have some movies going on. And the last time he wrestled, he blew out his entire body.
Right now, he's got nothing on the schedule.
How do people know that? Like,
you can just read Variety and stuff like that, and just look at go to IMDb. Go ahead.
Oh, I think Nate shut him down.
But I'm gonna try and combat it, but like I keep seeing people say that like his schedule's clear. Like, how the fuck do people like know? Like,
because you could.
I mean, like, how do people know that definitive? Like, how do you like genuinely know that his schedule is clear from January until April? Like, how do people know?
Because if you go to IMDb and you go to the productions on movies, they have very strict schedules. So if he's doing a movie with Warner Brothers.
Well, that's also a wild card, though, because Warner Brothers DC, the area that Rock inhabits, now run by James Gunn, that's in flux. So who knows if he might be shooting a cameo or something, Chris?
But a cameo takes like a day to shoot, though. It
got to get this Shazam money, baby.
Yeah.
Shazam.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, man. I like if I see like what's on the schedule for him and something comes up, but it just doesn't look like anything's coming.
What do you say to Steve's point though about like the last time he did this, like he wrecked his body for a little bit?
And Vince McMahon and them tried to make it look like he walked out on the fans and shit. I don't think Triple H is that kind of an idiot to push that kind of narrative. I don't know. I mean, maybe he will, but I just think that I do believe that when secrets start getting leaked to the wrestling media, and then they're not really to the point where they're not really secrets anymore, I kind of just go with that flow. I have learned to never deviate from the obvious. This is why I get most of my political predictions right, is just because I read the tea leaves. And this shit with The Rock, it's too blatantly obvious for me to go against it. Now I could be wrong, and that's one of the things too. I'm not afraid of being wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll just be like, well, I was wrong, shit. But
that's why you'll be wearing an Almost t-shirt sometime next year.
But I do think that they have an idea of where they want to go with this WrestleMania. And I do think that this will be like a Rock weekend. He might even get the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah, I totally see that. Like I called that from whenever they said it was in LA. I could definitely see Rock and Roman. I think that's the match they really should have done this year. Honestly,
but your history proved you right when they did. When Brock took the winning streak of The Undertaker. You were the one person that said they should have did it to Roman, and people were like, "Well, no." But then history has proven you right. That's who should have gotten the fucking victory over The Undertaker.
And I think it's going to be interesting because they've got plans, but what's the famous phrase? Card subject to change. You know, I think the plan as of right now is probably Rock and Roman. But it would not shock me if, whether it's a scheduling thing or whether, like Steve said, Rock is like, do I want to put my body through that? or if it's Cody comes back and is hotter than fish grease, right? Like things can change, things can move around. But I do want to see Rock and Roman.
Yeah,
the thing with that though, it doesn't. It's the kind of match that I think it means more with the title, but it still means a hell of a lot without the title.
Right. Yeah, and they could build it. The Rock is one
the
of
title between them is who's the head of the table.
Yeah, and The Rock is one of the few main eventers that never won the WWE title at WrestleMania. Yep. So that's an angle they can go to push that as well. And The Rock looks like he has 2 movies that are head into post-production. And then 1 movie that is in pre-production, Red Notice sequel.
Chris, I'm dying. I'm dying at this comment in the chat from Ray Williams.
Yeah, go ahead. Let me see it.
I got to bring it on screen.
Yeah,
the Steve Willie brother is he the N.W.A. Sami Zayn?
he's an honorary advocate.
Yeah, Owen Hart maybe.
I'll take it.
But we are running a little long tonight, but I figured since it's the last show we're gonna do this year, we could rock that 3 hour time limit, and I feel like we filled it out better than your typical episode of Monday Night Raw. But before we get out of here, any final comments, guys? We'll start with the guy that's always feeling oozy, Steve Willie. Steve, final thoughts on the year, man, and anything else you want to say? Because I do believe this is Steve's first official appearance on Post Wrestling, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I've been on comments and stuff, and that, but yeah, I think it is. And so, Nate, I thank you very much for. We've doing podcasts for each other. I don't even know how long we've been doing them together at this point. 6, 8 years. I think based on Google, as many years as they've been rumoring Rock versus Reigns. So I'm back to 34 right now, and there's still rumors of that. Yeah, I'm just very thankful for the opportunity to be on. And, Chris, we've talked several times, and I'm glad, Andrew, it's the first time we've been able to speak. And thank you very much. And yeah, I'm looking forward to next year. There's like I said at the top when I came on, if you don't like WWE, if you don't like AEW, there is so much wrestling. It is the best time ever to be a wrestling fan. Stop complaining, find stuff you love. And it's why this is such a great community. And the couple communities of wrestling that I'm in are very positive and very open and very welcoming. And, a reason why this show in fact exists is because of how open and welcoming this community is. It's just wonderful. And Nate, my stuff with my family and that. There is on AEW this week. There was a support trans kids sign in the front row, and it was just wonderful to see. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Steve Willie, and also, like I said, the doors always open for our light-skinned cousin, Steve Willie. Andrew Thompson.
I got a picture with Sami Zayn somewhere. I'm gonna have to drag that up.
Yes, somebody photoshopped that, man. I remember when this show started, we used to have some good Photoshop, but somebody photoshopped Steve Willie into the Sami Zayn outfit. Andrew Thompson, final thoughts for the year, young brother. What? Any final words for the postmarks out there, and what are you looking forward to next year, man?
It's been a very eventful year. I think it's been a great year. A lot to be proud of and thankful for, and all that good stuff. Like I think just a recent memory, definitely a highlight was being a part of that post anniversary weekend. That was real cool, man. That was something special, and of course I'd say personally, like I got to do a lot of cool stuff this year in terms of like interviews and that type of stuff. So yeah, it's been a solid year so far, man. And I'm looking forward to the what's to come in 2023, and I'm looking forward to the growth of the site, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing like what each and every one of us do collectively and individually as we continue to move forward and push forward and keep doing our thing, man. So yeah, it's always a good time doing this podcast, and I'm excited to see what we do the next years, that we continue on the N.W.A. podcast.
No doubt. Shout out to the good brother Hansi in the chat.
Hansi.
Appreciate you, fam.
Thanks, Hansi.
Always got love for that man, Hansi. Chris, final thoughts, man.
Yeah, so this was the craziest year in wrestling that I remember. I don't remember it ever being this crazy with just story after story after story. It just wouldn't stop, but I just want us to just stand up for other people. You know what I'm saying? Don't like get with these bullshit narratives, because what the media does is they push this they have us afraid that these MAGAs are just like they run everything. And when you actually talk to people, most reasonable people do not co-sign on any of this nonsense going on right now with the shit Kanye West is doing, or these like Carrie Lakes of the world and Donald Trump and stuff like that. So I just really want us to just in 2022 just keep our heads up, and or 2023 keep our heads up. It'll be a good year. I'm hoping that all the post people come out here for WrestleMania, so I can look for a venue to kind of host something. We're not in our new house yet, so probably won't be until the end of next year. Once that happens, I'll have people over. But yeah, just if you're going to be
Tyrus,
in
Nikita Lyons, Terry.
Oh, I wasn't going to ever say that.
Yeah,
not even a joke there.
Yeah. But so just be good to people in 2023. Stand up against anti-Black rhetoric, stand up against anti-Semitic rhetoric, anti-trans rhetoric, anti-LGBT rhetoric. Just stand up against all that shit, man.
Yeah, I think the last thing I'll say, Chris, is again, we are thankful for the platform, because it's something going back 5-6 years ago we were talking about earlier wasn't, commonplace. And now we're in a space where it's not just us. You got people like SP3 and True Hill Heat and the good work they're doing over there, Public Enemies, of course, the brother Righteous Reg, Phil and Will with Grapsity, Rich Fan holding it down, been holding it down for a minute. There's so much good content, Chinyeri, the good sister Chinyeri. And so I think that is the thing that I'm most looking forward to in 2023, the continuation of that trend. And Chris, you said this felt like the craziest year in wrestling in a long time. And I would say that if we didn't just come off of one of the craziest years in wrestling, because it feels like this 2022 is like so much pressure was building up during the pandemic.
Right.
And then, like you stepped on that water hose in the backyard, Steve Willie. And then when you finally take your foot off, all that pressure releases and things kind of are shaken up, but eventually they fall into place. And that's how I feel this year was, where we had a lot of shakeups. And so next year is the falling into place year. It's the last part of the trilogy. We in the end game. We are in Return of the Jedi. We're in what's another good third movie in the trilogy? Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That's as much as I can think of. But I guess Bad Boys for Life. That was a good third movie in the trilogy.
Sister Act 3.
Yeah, Sister Act 3. Yes. We love bringing y'all this show this year, and yes, not to calm my nephew's nerves. I'm not going anywhere. We not going anywhere. We advocates for life, so we are going to wrap up this year, going one more time around the horn. Steve Willie, where can people find you if they want to know more about the wonderful world of Willie?
Well, you can check me out on social media at Instagram, Steve Willie 1. You can go back and any of your podcast feeds, look up my show Feeling Good for Now that we did a bit during the pandemic. And yeah, of course, check out Kings of Sport, the TDT Talks. Man, I could have used a couple of those these last 6 months or so. It's like, hey, we got to get back on the air. We got to do it like this week.
Is it crazy, Steve, that there's a part of me that is wistful for the pandemic? Not people getting sick, obviously, but Just having free time.
Bro. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did actually I just reminded of it last night. I listened to a Ring of Honor podcast that's on I can't even remember what the during the pandemic I did a wrestling show called International House of Combat. It's which was like, it was a blast to do. It was just like me and this other guy, Kelly Nelson, who's a longtime wrestling historian. We just would find the oddest old wrestling from like
that's right, I remember that show.
Yeah, it was like 1980s Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
and 1970s Australia, just the most bizarre stuff that we'd find, and we'd watch along and comment on it. And it's just stuff like that yeah, I do miss that kind of stuff a little bit. And I think that's what created a lot of communities like this, is us having time to talk and meet new people and make friends. And it is one of the things that
because post weekend was one of the greatest, was probably my favorite weekend that I had this year, just meeting up with everybody and all that stuff. And I appreciate these communities, man.
And where can people find you if they want to show you some appreciation, Chris?
You could just I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be on Twitter. Just search for me on Christopher Ely with a K. If you spell it wrong, the right name will populate. Just add me on the gram, Facebook, whatever. And we'll chop it up. I really don't know what my future is on Twitter. I do not like this place anymore.
Yeah,
but
that's why I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, but I do like my friends there. So we'll figure it out. And if you know something, I'm gonna start using Fanbase and some other stuff. Mastodon I really couldn't get with, and there's some other things that just the interface is just too confusing for me. But if you know something with the easy interface, let me know so I can.
I heard Chris about to drop this OnlyFans on y'all in 2023.
Yeah,
hell no,
y'all ain't ready. Mimosa Mayhem.
Chris ain't even.
We love you, Chris, man. It's always a pleasure doing this with you, brother. Andrew Thompson, the youngest in charge. Tell these people about Andrew Thompson's interviews. Tell these people about the work you do at Post. Tell these people why you the youngest in charge, nephew.
I mean, they can follow me on Twitter at @AD_Thompson__. Same thing on Instagram. I'm gonna get back on the interviews in 2023. Got some stuff lined up with some people I want to interview, a couple of independent wrestlers. I'm gonna try to reach out to some of the more mainstream companies and try to set something up and see what I can get out of that.
Yeah, we need Jeff Jarrett part 2.
Yeah, man.
So we can talk about Head of State some more. Me and Jeff Jarrett.
The classic Head of State.
So I'm gonna try to do that and see what's going on with that. But yeah, man, you can check out my written work at Post Wrestling. A lot of great work being done over there by a lot of different people. And shout out to my news comrades, John Pollock and Neil Flanagan, who holding it down in the site right now. So yeah, shout out to everybody involved with Post, man. That's doing some great work, including this podcast, Nate, Chris, and everybody, man. Shout out to you, Steve. It was great meeting you, man. First time getting to talk to you. So yeah, I'm looking forward to 2023, man. So let's keep it moving.
Yeah, man. Post family runs deep. Again, shout out to John and Wade. Shout out to everybody watching, man. We appreciate, there's some people that have been here since 9 o'clock watching this tonight, and we definitely appreciate y'all for hanging in there and commenting the whole way through, and the super chats. We definitely felt the love. If you want more from me, you can check me out on Twitter at @8 MOZAIK, at Nate Mosaic on Twitter. Check out Place to Be Nation, where you can find the main event, which is a show that I am on with Steve Willie, Scott Criscola, and the Sheriff, Pete Schermacher. We just dropped a new episode yesterday or 2 days ago, since we're after midnight on the East Coast. But you can check us out every other week. We talk about kind of the latest news in the world of professional wrestling. We have some good times on the main event over at Place to Be Nation. You can also check out the Kings of Sport Patreon. As I mentioned, everybody on this show tonight has been on the Kings of Sport Patreon. Chris, Andrew, Steve Willie, all part of the Patreon. $5 gets you in the door if you want to be a part of that. If you want to pay more, we won't stop you because there's different levels to that Patreon. And also, man, I just had to buy a new laptop today. So, know,
no,
my laptop, my laptop, that was a shoot, brother. My laptop died on Friday. So I had to buy a new laptop today because I had 4 shows I had to do today, including this one. So,
I wanted to shout out Kate from Montreal too. I forgot to mention her.
Okay, yeah. Shout out to Kate. WH, like the whole Post family is strong in these streets. But yeah, this is a great community to be a part of. And another great community. The last thing I'll plug besides the Patreon is DCTV Podcast, which is where Vanessa Shark, friend of the program, Steve Willie and Chris, both know and love Vanessa, Brittany Monet, Clement Bryan, and myself. We were the Black Lightning Podcast. Now we are the Lituation Room, where we talk about pop culture and these movies and TV shows based on the perspective of Black people. So it's a lot like this show, except for MCU stuff and the DC movies. So you can check that out. And again, in the number 8, MOZAIK on Twitter, as long as Twitter is a thing. Don't forget to subscribe to Chris's OnlyFans in 2023. And that is going to bring an end to another year here with the N.W.A. podcast. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. Thanks again, everybody, for listening. If you're listening to this in the future in podcasting form, Andrew, Chris, we did it, brothers. Looking forward to next year. Y'all be safe. Everybody be smart out here in these holiday streets. Steve Willie, again, the door is always open.
Thank you.
And remember, finally, the revolution may not be televised, but it damn sure will be podcasted. We'll see y'all next year.
Yo. It's Righteous Reg. It's a case for the safe, keep a space for the Nubians. Unfiltered, off kilter, the professor. Yo. It's Righteous Reg. It's a case for the safe, keep a space for the Nubians. Unfiltered, off kilter, the professor, the godfather, post wrestling, the N.W.A. Not keep guessing, The views and expressions, you know the rest. It's pod excellence, get the message. Advocates for Nubian wrestling, you're listening to the best again. Black wrestling in the ring we invested in. Nubian kings and queens we invested in. It's for the culture and we reppin' it. It's for the culture and we reppin' it.